Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the opening drive on 101 ESPN in St. Louis. It's 7 o'clock. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. I'm Randy Carricker with a very happy Brooke Grimsley. She is the chairman, CEO, president, founder, treasurer, assistant VP of the Lars Nootbaar fan club. Good morning.
Oh, the Nutty Neuters of Newt Nation. We are rejoicing this morning. Did you guys see everything that Lars Nootbaar did last night?
Oh, he was incredible.
He did a really good job.
And you even look up, and he was on the SEC top 10 just a minute ago.
Yep, third best play in all of sports last night. Pretty impressive. And then they had a hockey play. Super Bowl champ Kerry Davis, you heard his voice. How are you doing?
I am wonderful, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, we have football tonight here on 101 ESPN. We have the Hall of Fame game from Canton, Ohio. It's the Browns.
And it's like the first preseason. Like the Hall of Fame game it's football.
But Kerry, are you really excited about seeing like Aaron Rodgers with his debut?
He's probably not going to play a snap.
Oh.
He probably those guys generally don't play. I mean, they may dress out, but they probably won't. He probably won't take a snap. If he does, it'll be in pregame.
The Hall of Fame, by the way, the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Baseball Hall of Fame, they're both very cool. But this is a fun weekend at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, especially if you have one of your guys going in.
We played in that game the year that Michael Irvin went into the Hall of Fame, Thurman Thomas. That was a really good experience. It was an awesome time for me because I grew up watching Thurman Thomas and obviously Michael Irvin. So it was a great experience to be in Canton. Back then, I say it like it was 50 years ago, but back then, it was the first of five preseason games. Hey, you didn't want to do all that. It was a lot.
Yeah, too much.
Oh, yeah.
Way too much. And by the way, speaking of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, tomorrow, Isaac and Tori are going to join us at 8:45, did we decide, I think? Yeah, 8:45 for tomorrow for Isaac Bruce, Hall of Famer, and Tori Holt, future Hall of Famer. Speaking of Hall of Famers, well, let's get back to the Nutty Neuters of Newt Nation because the Cardinals, the Hall of Famers were on display last night. If you didn't hear, the Cardinals won. Why are you laughing? Why are we?
I don't think they're Hall of Famers.
Not yet.
Well, Dakota Hudson goes 7 innings.
That was impressive.
7 innings. He allows 3 runs on 2 hits. He did walk 3, struck out 7, 94 pitches. He was absolutely dominant. I mean, why would you need to trade for Max Scherzer or Justin Verlander when you're getting a performance like that?
What did he do last year, numbers-wise? And what has he been doing? Wasn't his ERA in the minors before being called up?
Okay.
Isn't it like 6 or something like that?
Don't give me facts,
Oh, I'm
Brooke.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hey, he's figured it out. I'm very happy.
Second inning. I got a good way for you to avoid pulling hamstrings. It's by hitting the ball over the fence and jogging.
Yeah.
High fly ball. He went down and called back to left. Warner back. Track wall. Over the bullpen and gone. Early fireworks in St. Louis. O'Neill is homered in back-to-back games, and the Cardinals strike first.
That's okay. He seems to be back from that injury.
What injury was it?
It was a back injury, CD.
When did that happen?
About a week back.
No, it is 7:03. That is too early. You guys can't get any earlier than this unless you open the show with it, which would be insane. It's too much. Too much.
Puts the Cardinals up 1-0, but they weren't done. J-Dub, we talked yesterday about him dealing with adversity, and he had during the month of July, but this, kids, is August.
So a 2-2 pitch. Swinging fly ball. Line left again. Track wall. Gone. Walker has his 10th.
2-0 on Jordan Walker's 10th homer of the season. Tommy Edman reaches base, and we all went crazy.
Fly ball. That's whacked to right. That's headed for the Cardinals bullpen. The fireworks guys hardly had time to reload. It is derby time at Busch Stadium. Split finger. Lars Nootbaar goes down and gets it. Another bomb. 411 feet.
The thing that struck me about that home run is that it sounded, and we can listen to it again, it sounded like a Jack Clark home run. Jack Clark's home runs, you could turn around and close your eyes, and they sounded different. Listen again to the crack of the bat here.
Fly ball, that's whacked to right.
He let it rip. He let it eat.
Yes.
Yes, it's very exciting. A very exciting moment. You know, all those people that were wanting him to get traded, look at him now.
You don't want to trade him. You don't want to trade anybody. I mean, you get a couple of people aboard in the third inning, and the Cardinals get another home run.
Swing and a drive. Tape measure shot down the line. Burleson with a 3-run homer.
Here
Burley,
we go.
yes.
Now, yeah, we do that every game from here on out. Let's do it.
Hey, 4 home runs every game?
Yeah.
We can do that.
Specifically from the
7 innings
outfield.
pitched by the starter.
Here come the Cardinals.
Tra-la, tra-la.
Yeah.
It makes you feel better, right?
It does. They beat the Twins, by the way, 7-3. The Twins in first place in their division. And now they only have a 2-game lead over the Cleveland Guardians. But the Cardinals' offense was very productive. And what's interesting about this is that you get an 0 for 4 out of Goldie. You get a 1 for 4 out of Arenado. But it is Newt Barr. And by the way, Gorman was 0 for 2 last night, too. But it is Newt Barr. It is Tyler O'Neill. It is Burleson. It is Walker. It's the young kids that are stepping up and providing the offense for the Cards.
Yeah, you wish that you could have seen that more consistently throughout the season to supplement Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. But I feel like, do you think that this is just the guys playing without pressure that we're seeing in that game, especially with Dak and his performance? I mean, the way that he was able to perform last night, we were talking about the 7 innings, 7 strikeouts. I mean, it's like he was listening to Mosaic when he's talking about they want to see swing and miss stuff. Dakota was like, "Oh, that's what you want? Okay,
You should have told me.
yeah, you should have just said that, you know."
Contact philosophy.
Yeah, and a lot of those strikeouts coming on the slider too. It's just he looked at ease out there. Now, the question is, can he do that on a consistent basis? And I still feel, though, even with that good performance, it's very exciting for Dak last night. I like that he was able to do that. I just hope that the Cardinals are not going to get too mesmerized by a couple performances like that, because I don't think you can rely on some of the internal options for starting pitching going next season, because isn't that what you did this past offseason? Oh,
Randy.
okay.
I don't think that no.
That's what I'm doing. We're together. When I'm together with Dakota Hudson, I'm Sunshine Lollipop.
Here's I do think that some of the pressure is off, and the issue you could run into is these young pitchers perform really well down the stretch, and then you feel like, oh, we got it figured out.
Yep.
And then you don't go make a move in free agency, and then you're right back where you are in the 2023 season.
Here's the way I look at it. And I know that this gets old for you guys, but the day that Mo said essentially he said we're selling. We're not waving the white flag, but we're going to sell. I think I said on the air the next morning, don't believe anything you see from here on in.
Yeah.
So
and
don't
I don't
believe
think
that?
we can. I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. Because, like you said, Brooke, there is no pressure. This is loosey-goosey, and once you're good and you have to play meaningful games in September, it's a different sport, and it's all about dealing with pressure. And these guys, now there's some super talented guys offensively, but if we get to September next year and Dakota Hudson's on the staff, even if he has a good year, I'm going to wonder, because I just don't know. I want a couple of guys that Miles Michaelis has pitched in pressure situations. I'm confident in Michaelis pitching in September and October. I would be confident if I had Aaron Nola pitching in September or October. I would be confident, even though he's not a swing and miss guy, if I had Kyle Hendricks pitching in September or October. Would I be confident in Dakota Hudson? No. Would I be confident in Matthew Liberatore? Probably not. So I want some guys that I feel good about in terms of their ability to produce when the chips are down.
That's exactly what I was saying. It's just like I hope that they don't go into this offseason thinking that they can fully rely on these internal options. You already made that mistake. You can't do that again going into next year.
Would not be wise.
And I think it's different as well if you have a championship pedigree manager / coach and coaching staff, and you can't do it until you do it. So nothing against Ollie and his crew there, but there's something to be said for Tony La Russa or Whitey Herzog leading a group through that process because they've done it before. Mike Tomlin had done it before. Gary, you hadn't been through the pressure of December and January until you did it.
Right.
But how much of a difference did it make having Tomlin and that staff?
It definitely helps when you have guys that, well, it wasn't even, I wouldn't even say just the staff.
The
It was
players.
a bunch of players that had just won a Super Bowl 2 years prior. So we all understood, and I had played in the NFC Championship. We had a lot of guys that had been in those positions, so it makes the game easier when your peers and your coaches all have been there.
When the Cardinals got swept in the 2004 World Series by the Red Sox. A lot of them hadn't been through it, but they all went to the younger guys. In 06, they went to Brad Thompson and Chris Duncan and the young bullpen Josh Kinney and Waino, and the old guys all said, "Hey, this is going to go really fast. Slow it down, slow it down." And that's one of the reasons that those young kids were able to succeed, because they just kept having it drilled into their heads. Slow this down and try to make it as normal as you possibly can, even though it's the most abnormal thing in the world.
And even if the veterans aren't saying something, I'm sure, was it just where you look at them too, and they're just leading by example, even if they weren't saying something to you on a daily basis, you're watching how they handled that whole situation.
It helps when guys have had that experience, and if you do have questions, you can ask, and then guys are willing with information. They talk to you. Hey, this is just another game. It may feel more important, and to a degree it is, but it's still the same game you played in week 7. It's still the same game you played in week 4, week 12. Nothing has changed about the game. You're adding more pressure to it because you know what's at stake.
Meanwhile, the Reds at the top of the division have gone 5-5 in their last 10. The Brewers in second place in the division have gone 3-7 in their last 10. And the Cubs, now 3 games out in the division, have won 8 of their last 10. They've scored 36 runs in their last 2 games. They scored 22 nights ago, 16-6 last night. They hit 5 home runs, and the Cubs are only 2.5 out in the wild card race. And this all started against the Cardinals.
This is why you don't let your division foes get any confidence. They're going to just keep building. You just got to kick people when they're down, Randy. That's did we change that to our 4th pillar?
Yeah, kick people when they're down.
Yeah, kick them when they're down. Kick your opponents down. Kick them when they're down.
Kick them when
every
they're
time.
down. I like that.
Yeah,
that's good. We are going to talk about the Cubs and more ball with Greg Amsinger at the bottom of this hour. We're also going to talk at 9 o'clock with ESPN baseball insider Kiley McDaniel. He's their minor league draft and minor league guy, and he's really high on some of the people the Cardinals got in exchange for the expiring contracts that they traded off at the deadline. We're off and running, but coming up next, it's time for Sick of It. Get your text in to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. Sick of It next on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you want to improve your golf game, I've got an idea for you. It's put a celebrity green in your backyard. You can go through Clubhouse Turf here in St. Louis. Clubhouse Turf is the official partner of Celebrity Greens here in St. Louis, and they do fantastic work. They'll put a beautiful synthetic green in your backyard that provides real grass performance when you putt, and you can practice chips and pitches and bunker shots. The only company to get in touch with is Clubhouse Turf here in St. Louis at 314-834-2343. And in addition to those great golf things that you get, Clubhouse Turf also offers a complete line of synthetic turf installation, including sport turf and playgrounds, pet turf, and lawn turf. That's right. If you're having brown spots in your yard and just having difficulty from areas where your pets are all the time and you can't get the grass to grow, get in touch with Clubhouse Turf at clubhouseturf.com, or just talk to them about a celebrity green, and that could be part of your backyard. The number again for Clubhouse Turf, 314-834-2343. Get a beautiful synthetic turf in your backyard from clubhouseturf.com.
Morning Drive on 101 ESPN. Brought to you by Sumner One.
It is time for Sick of It here on 101 ESPN. Brooke Grimsley, Carrie Davis, Randy Carricker, and you. You need to text in, though. 314-399-9646. 314-399. Yo-ho! Guys, let's talk a little MLS here. I'm sick of these Europeans coming over and dominating our league.
You were excited about it, I
was
thought.
for a while until he wasn't on our team.
It's really, I mean, he's different.
Lionel Messi is different. He's different. But,
He got 5 goals already?
Yeah, I think in 2 games. 3 games?
3 games?
5 and 3, yeah.
Your mind changed very quickly
Yeah,
on that.
I'm fine if he's on our team, but no, not if he's going to dominate our league with his.
Get used to it, Randy.
Yeah.
What about Chris Ron, if he came over?
Yeah, if he's on our team. Yeah, see Ron.
If not,
See Ron, yeah.
move it along.
Yeah, just
move it along,
move
pal.
on. Yeah, let's go to Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
You can go over there.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah. So, come on, don't dominate our league like that.
you're saying it's embarrassing?
It kind of is. It's kind of like us sending. Who could we send? Like if they had a little football league and we sent Patrick Mahomes over there. You know?
They have there's an Italian football
See,
league.
there you go. Patrick Mahomes played in the
saying,
Can you
IFL.
imagine the 5,000-yard season that Nick Chubb would have?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I would love to see.
They probably don't pay their
Derrick
running backs
Henry?
either.
No, that's true.
Yeah, Derrick Henry would
Yeah.
dominate
Oh my
everybody.
God!
When the unfortunate Lawrence Phillips, just all unfortunate, was cut by the Rams, he went up and played in Canada.
No.
And Vermeil said he's going to tear them a new one. And he did.
Randy, somebody goes, Messi's South American.
It's still our league. Whatever. Isn't South America in Europe?
No.
No.
This is why. This is why.
It's in South America.
This is why the fight has sports questions.
Add geography questions. You hear that, Rocc?
Yeah.
Add geography questions. I love that moment.
That was. I had to pause for a second.
Are you insane? Are you insane?
What?
Add geography questions?
Yeah.
Be intriguing. Yeah, he might.
Okay.
You know what I'm sick of? I'm so sick of hearing about the Dallas Cowboys. Every single year, I got to hear that this is the year for the Cowboys. It ain't been their year since 95. No, they have not. They haven't even played in a championship game since then. No one cares about the Cowboys except for Cowboy fans. And they're everywhere, clearly, and we have to hear about them all of the time. You guys stink. I watched a video yesterday of Dak Prescott throwing a ball into double coverage where CeeDee Lamb, his best receiver, was running an under route wide open. Why in the hell would you throw it downfield to a guy? This is what I've come to expect. I think Dak Prescott is a great young man. I think he's a
Fine young man.
I think he's a fine young man. Very good quarterback. Don't think he's going to lead the Cowboys to a championship, and I'm tired of hearing about him.
Was it 15 interceptions?
Yeah,
last
in
season?
like 13 games. He led the league in interceptions and didn't play every game.
That's not
great.
good.
No. So yeah, I have difficulty. My closest friends are aware of the fact that I have difficulty if you had a long-term association. If you walk away from the Cowboys, I'm fine. If they invite you and you walk away, I'm fine. But if you have a long-term association with the Dallas, I love Howard Richards, one of my favorite people in the world.
Howard's a great
Yes.
guy.
Great guy. You know, he was a
he was a Cowboy.
Yeah, but
it's
didn't-
expected.
it's not his fault.
No, it's not.
So
The
that's
rest,
the thing.
the rest of these guys
Make a choice.
and gals.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Jeez.
I'm
Yeah.
tired of them too.
You think they should move on from Dak?
Yeah, well, no, I don't think. No, you're not going to move on from Dak.
Did he?
because
How many
he's-
interceptions did he have last year?
15.
Keep him going.
See if you can break that. At least you're breaking some record. Well, guys, my sick of it. I put this on Twitter the other day. I was just casually grocery shopping, and I'll show it to the tube for anybody to see, but you can go to my Twitter account to see the photo. I was just casually shopping, going to check out at Schnucks, and you know they have that aisle right before the candy aisle to tempt you right before you go to check out. And right in front of my face, next to the ding dongs, which should be sacrilegious that you're just going to have meat right next to the ding dongs, and this wasn't the employees, somebody made the decision to just set the meat that they were going to purchase right there.
Like it was pre-made burgers or something, right?
Yeah, it's like patties.
Yeah.
They just set it right there next to the freaking ding dongs.
That's
So-
the same person that went went into the parking lot and left the cart in the parking space.
Yes, these are the same. I want to know. Look, we'll maybe keep you anonymous if you text in. If you're this type of person, I just want an explanation. Because you also have the option of when you're going to check out, you can hand that meat to the clerk,
right? Yeah.
You just hand it to the clerk, or you can walk your butt back over to the aisle where you got that food from and go put it back.
Thank you.
It is so lazy and inconsiderate, and just to waste food like that and to put it next to the ding dongs.
Oh, that was the thing. See, and you put up on Twitter the question why, and I said why not, because I was just focused on the.
You just saw the ding dongs.
Yeah, once you show the ding dongs, that's where my focus goes right to that.
Well, somebody made that same decision, Randy. They saw the ding dongs and all of the Twinkies and all that. They're like, you know what? Instead of this nice, healthy turkey burger, I'm going to have a Twinkie today.
Okay, that eases my angst a little bit about this situation.
I just hate it. Just put it back.
Come on, the common courtesy. There's a book, and it's really easy to read for all of us. It's called Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. Learn it, live it, love it.
I love that. Yeah. That's so true.
Everything you did, everything you need to know, you learned in kindergarten. Matthew, what do we got on the old text line?
We have a person who's quite cranky. I'm sick of social media posts where people spew adjectives about someone. The most loving, caring, considerate, thoughtful, compassionate, helpful, yada, yada. Pick one or two. Anything is just too sappy and kind of sounds like you're trying to make up for something.
I have no problem when people say nice things about me, and I appreciate the person that did social mediaize me. But no, I'm not tired of that. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Who hurt them?
That's a great question.
Sometimes you have to do some reflecting in life and sit back and really question, at what point did I become this hurtful? This much hurt placed upon me. I've been hurt. I have to have to go back and really look at myself and figure out when that began, and then I have to do the work to correct it.
Little therapy here.
Man, it doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. You're just saying something really nice, and I don't know. Sometimes saying things in threes too really gets across the point about what you're trying to hit home about, and when you're describing something, that's at least in journalism school. Everything's in threes, so you'll hear newscasters list things in threes when they're trying to get a point across when describing something. So I don't know. It's just somebody being sweet, sappy, and happy.
I wonder if in journalism
See how
school,
I did the three?
Yeah.
There?
Oh, this is great. Do you think that started with celebrity deaths?
Oh, Randy. Randy.
They come in threes, don't they?
Randy.
Same thing with divorces.
Come on, Rocc.
every audio or like print medium has a rule of three.
Yeah,
Comedy has a rule of three as well.
Yes.
Like, you want to make a joke, you have to give three examples, like that kind of stuff. Everything, there's rules of threes for all of it. It's crazy.
Sweet, sappy, and happy.
By the way,
Sappy and happy.
okay, I'm not going there right now, but I've got a fun thing.
Going there.
Uh-oh.
I'm sick of the Broncos and Jets feud. Nobody's played a game yet. They aren't even in the same division. Neither team made the playoffs last year. Tired of hearing about it? Play each other first before smack talking, or at least wait until the week of the game.
This is the build-up for what I guess is going to be a good game. I would expect the Jets. I don't know. Maybe Sean Payton has some juice left, and he can get Russell Wilson to stay in the pocket and throw the ball to the proper people. We'll see. But I don't have a problem with it. One coach is talking trash about another coach, and his work ethic and what he left in when he left, I'm gonna have no problem with it. And then the other coach is very sensitive. That goes against the rules. Yeah. Man, nah, hell no. You know what's against the rules? An offense that scores 16 points a game.
There you go.
And you're an offensive coordinator. That should be against the damn rules. You forcing us to watch the Broncos every Sunday should have been against the damn rules, Nathaniel Hackett.
And here's the thing. So Sean Payton is a Bill Parcells protege. In the 80s, and again, it's back in my day, but Kerry, you were growing up watching this, there were half the coaches in the league with personality. You had people like Jerry Glanville, you had Parcells, you had Joe Gibbs, you had Jim Hannafin, you had Bill Walsh, you had all these guys that did different things. And Ditka.
Mike Ditka,
yeah. All these personalities. Who's an NFL coach with personality right now?
Ooh. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Andy Reid to a degree.
We need that.
But
he
not,
says, I'm going to have a
some of his
cheeseburger.
post-game comments.
Yeah.
McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, yes.
Yeah, he's got a chance.
But he's new. They'll get beaten out of him.
Man.
Yeah. So, but I just
The joy.
Probably.
I love the idea of coaches talking and entertaining us, because ultimately, and that was DV. DV understands that you're in the entertainment business, and I think that's one of the things that the No Fun League happens to have a problem with, is that there's still, in many ways, the No Fun League, and I just think that they could do a better job.
I like my coaches fighting on the sideline, like Buddy
That's
Ryan.
like Buddy Ryan. There's another
Kevin
one.
Gilbride. Like, fight.
Yeah,
Punch somebody in the face when they call a bad play.
I like that idea a lot. I do. Oh, okay. We need to take a break because we've got Greg Amsinger coming up. Okay, that makes sense. We'll do it. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Randy.
And thanks for your texts. We do appreciate them. More texts coming up later in the hour with TIOLI. But Greg Amsinger, MLB Network, next on 101 ESPN.
This is Rocc with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Yesterday, the Cardinals with a win over the Twins, 7-3. They get 4 home runs. Lars Nootbaar, Tyler O'Neill, Jordan Walker, and Alec Burleson. Also, Dakota Hudson Shove, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, and 1 home run allowed. Cardinals back in action for Game 3 of their series against the Twins tonight, 6:45 first pitch. It's going to be Sonny Gray, the righty for the Twins, facing off against Matthew Liberatore, the lefty for the Cardinals. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
The great Greg Amsinger, lead anchor for MLB Network, and of course, a product of St. Louis and the Lindenwood University, joins us now. I think last week when we talked to Greg, he was moving, and moving can be a hassle. He's with us now on the Celebrity Line. Good morning, Greg. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm great. You know, there's nothing quite like your family being out of town, so you're home alone, doing everything that you were just describing, unpacking. And then the doorbell rings because the sprinkler guys are here at 7 a.m. So I open the door and I go, why didn't you guys just show up at 5 a.m.? Like, what's really the difference? I actually got up to go to the bathroom at 5 a.m., so I was awake. It would have been better if you showed up at 5 a.m. Not that I'm complaining. I'm very grateful, very blessed, but, just wanted to share that.
Sprinkler guy. Thanks for sharing that. That's good. Hey, I know you love the trade deadline. Who won? Who won the trade deadline?
Oh man, I gotta be honest. I think fans in the American League West won the trade deadline because Max Scherzer and Joseph Verlander, don't let them fool you. They're not friends, and they never became friends when they reunited in New York. The fact that Max Scherzer heard that Verlander might get traded to the Rangers after his start said, I need to talk to ownership because I need to know what the direction of this team is going to be. And then he's the one that gets traded to the Texas Rangers. And then Justin Verlander has the opportunity to be traded to the Dodgers or the Astros. And then goes, you know what? I want to make sure that the Astros win the AL West and Max Scherzer doesn't go to the World Series. These two guys going to the top 2 teams in this division, I think adds so much. You could write a better script. But in terms of like a team that won it, man, I like what the Marlins did. The Marlins did stuff. They moved guys. They made their team better. They bulked up the back end of their bullpen. Lopez and Robertson's great. They moved Cooper, who wasn't hitting any home runs this year, and they got a guy named Jake Berger, St. Louis kid, who's going to play every day. He's their third baseman. He's a natural third baseman. They moved Gene Segura. They made moves like they want to go to the NLCS. I don't think anyone ever expected that. So good for the fan base in Miami, and I'm glad they made moves.
Greg, I always love your big, bold predictions. So the question after the trade deadline is what in the world the starting rotation is going to look like next season for the Cardinals. So what is your prediction of what the Cardinals starting rotation will look like next season, and who do you think will be a part of it?
I think there will be a major overhaul to that starting rotation, including the bullpen as well. I don't know why I feel like the Cardinals are going to make a massive trade in the offseason, a massive trade to bring in someone who's got controllable years. I'm looking at the list of free agents, and it's bulky. There are a lot of guys to pick from on the menu, but I just see the Cardinals going in a different direction. I think they signed one free agent starter. I think they make a trade for another. And of the guys that I believe will still be in that rotation, I still believe Matthew Liberatore's got a lot of upside. But for some reason, I look at him as Andrew Miller with not exactly the same kind of wipeout stuff. Andrew Miller was a failed starter, but became a major weapon everyone in St. Louis knows as a reliever. And I think Liberatore falls into that category for me. So I think Miles Michaelis is a shoo-in. I don't think there's any debate that because he's under contract that he'll be back. And then after that, it's up in the air. And I know people will roll their eyes at that. I think there's going to be a major overhaul to the starting rotation for the St. Louis Cardinals, and it's needed.
Greg, Tyler Glasnow is due $25 million from the Rays next year. Safe to say that the Rays aren't going to pay $25 million for Tyler Glasnow?
I think it's safe to say they won't do that. The only thing that I will, I'll curb the enthusiasm on a Tyler Glasnow trade. Look up his baseball reference page. We all know this guy he's got the greatest hair in all of baseball. He's 6'8", I believe.
Yep.
He chiseled some of the best stuff in baseball. I don't think he's made 40 career starts. Maybe he has. He just surpassed that. He's been in the league for like 5 years, and he hasn't made 40 career starts. So we're enamored with this guy who literally has played the Zach Wheeler game better than Zach Wheeler. Wheeler didn't pitch and got $100 million because when he did pitch, we love the spin rate and the velocity. Tyler Glasnow is rewriting that script. He's going to get paid $150 million or more eventually when he enters free agency without really using his right arm. So durability to me is a major red flag for the guy. But when he pitches, you're looking at some of the nastiest stuff in the game.
And he's never made more than 14 starts in a season. Great point.
Greg, when you're talking about pitchers and potential trade partners, it sounds like Dylan Cease would be a name that the Cardinals could go after. And there seems to be some misunderstanding by Cardinal fans that believe that wouldn't include Nolan Gorman or one of those types of names going in Chicago's direction for Dylan Cease to be here.
Look, fans of St. Louis need to come to terms with the fact they held on to Nolan Arenado. If you're going to make a move for Dylan Cease, who's got years of control, you better believe that once they came out and said that Nolan Arenado's not going to be traded, the number one name that was being thrown out by other front offices was Nolan Gorman. That's the guy they wanted. So hold on one second.
Sprinkler guys?
This is amazing. This is amazing radio. Hold on one second.
Yeah, we got to hear this. No, let's.
You got to hear this.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Here we go. Hello.
Can you come outside for a minute? I need to show you a few things.
Okay, I will. I'm on the radio right now, so I'll be. And I know that sounds crazy. I will be downstairs in like 3 to 5 minutes. Okay.
We'll keep more than 3 minutes.
Thank you.
We're going to frustrate the Sprinkler guys.
Yeah.
They want you to come outside, huh?
Way to go, guys. Way to go. He's mad. I just upset the Sprinkler guy. So I'll be downstairs in 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was saying is Nolan Gorman is definitely the name they're throwing out. But aren't you guys, sometimes people in St. Louis have come to me like, some of your stories, Amsinger, I'm not buying them. I'm glad you actually know that I wasn't lying to you when I said the Sprinkler guys have been here since 7, 8.
And we like the job. We like that the fact that they are asking questions. It's really important. You don't want the Sprinkler put in the wrong spot, Greg. So the fact that they're calling and asking questions is a valuable thing for you.
Yeah, I also have a leak apparently in my yard, and there's like a water bubble on one part of my yard, which is terrible. And I just found that out as he was like walking and scanning at 7 a.m. So who knows what a water bubble costs you? So I'm literally sitting here on the radio with you. I can feel the dollars leaving my wallet.
Hey, Greg, are the Cubs going to come back and make a playoff spot here?
I can't believe that. Marcus Stroman, ERA over 8. They just put him on the IL. Kyle Hendricks has no swing and miss. I just don't think they have enough pitching. And I was really interested to see what they were going to do at the deadline. Like, how far are you going to go? All right, if you're going to hold on to Bellinger and you're going to hold on to all these guys, then aren't you going to be a buyer? There are teams that just underperformed. I think when you ask me who won the trade deadline, I'm still haunted by the teams that kind of lost the trade deadline. The Orioles didn't do enough. The Reds did nothing, which just is so irritating. Mm-hmm. What direction are the Mariners going in? I mean, who knows? We don't really know. So, as in the Yankees have one area of their team that's good, and it's the bullpen. So they added an average reliever. That's all they did. And it's just mind-boggling some of the moves some of these teams made. But yeah, I think that's what I walk away from. There are too many teams that did nothing. They sat on their hands, and I think the Cubs sort of fell into that category for me.
What about the Cardinals?
The Cardinals had to make a couple moves, and I don't know if they did. John Mozeliak wasn't just going to give people away. I think the Flaherty move was a good one. when you look at the young Cuban defector, the 24-year-old second baseman they got, he can hit, and he's going to play in the big leagues at some point. He's close to the big leagues. They get another minor leaguer along with him, and he was asking for talent, for a rental, and to get what he got back, I give him an A+ on that move. I'm not kidding. I give him an A+ on the Flaherty move. Other than that, you're going to look at some of the young players. It's kind of like up for debate as to did he get enough for the other players that he traded. But the Cardinals had to sell. It's a weird time to be a Cardinal fan because no one's used to this, watching the Cardinals trade away talent. But that's the kind of reality you're in now. You can't determine whether or not it was a good trade deadline after the hours after you sell. You have to wait 2-3 years to see if you got any real talent back.
Greg, I think some people were hoping at the trade deadline that maybe we would get some more clarity of the logjam in the outfield. But, of course, as you mentioned, you're not just going to move guys just to move guys. But do you think during the offseason that maybe that will be a part of one of the trades that you're talking about, figuring out what you're going to do with some of these guys in the outfield?
Yes, I think that's where they're going to trade from their surplus of talent. I think Newbar and Walker are part of the future, and then everyone else. I mean, Burleson looked pretty good yesterday. O'Neal's an interesting talent. Dylan Carlson is too talented to just come in as a defensive replacement at the end of games. They're going to make a move. They have to make a move, and that's not even scratching the surface of the talent they have in the minor league level in the outfield. So the Cardinals have to do something, and I think they will. But you might also see a significant bat in the infield get moved as well. And not a Goldschmidt, not a Arenado. Ownership wants to win again. And that is the commitment that group has made to the city of St. Louis. So I think there will be a massive trade in the offseason when it makes more sense, where they're not under the gun. And you'll see the Redbirds try to reinvent things on the mound, because that is the number one priority going into 2024.
Hey, Greg, last thing. How much are you? We were talking yesterday about the energy that comes from a pennant race and the playoffs. How much do you get energized now that we're in the stretch run?
I love it. You know, the All-Star Game is fun. It's a lot of work. And then you go right to Cooperstown, which is the induction ceremony, which is great, a lot of work. And then you get ready for the trade deadline, which is so much fun. But obviously, it's hours and hours of television all the way going up to the wire. So it's loads of fun to do all those things. But now you kind of settle in, right? You settle in and you get ready for the month of September, and then all the call-ups, and then all the pennant races. And now you got all these teams that think they're going to go to the playoffs. I mean, it was a seller's market because there are just too many teams ready to buy. There are too many teams trying to win. So the price of poker went way up if you're trying to acquire a starter or a reliever. So yeah, it's a fun time. I always hope for a week where there are at least two races that have been undecided. We just need that last week to really matter. And I really believe if you look at the wild card standings, that's going to be the case. If you look at the AL West, I really think it's going to be down to the wire. If you look at the NL Central, I think that division is going to go down to the wire. The AL Central, which I really didn't even get into, what was that about?
Right.
New rule. If you are popping bottles with a sub-500 record, you find out you're not going to the playoffs. Go ahead. You celebrate. You can celebrate. You got a division title. You're going to hang up that pennant. That's awesome. You won the AL Central. But if you ended the year 80 and 82, you didn't make the playoffs. That's a new rule for me.
Fair enough, new rule. Okay, one thing, because I just need to frustrate these sprinkler guys. Do you play Immaculate Grid on your phone, and have you lost if you play?
I played it. I'm not someone that plays games in general. Other than like physical sports games.
Yeah.
I don't do, Wordle or any of that other stuff. But my researchers brought this game to my attention, and I played it, and I really enjoyed it. To me, it looks like bathroom entertainment.
It's a great call. It is. It's a great call.
Yeah.
I concur.
Yeah.
It's bathroom entertainment, which falls into a whole new category. I think we're leading that. This is going to lead to like a bathroom entertainment network where we have these little things that we do, that we watch. Maybe I should be the executive producer of the bathroom entertainment network. But I think the game will fall into that category.
Greg, yesterday, Kerry Davis was playing the football version. Tell him what happened.
It made my day, Greg. They asked for an Indianapolis Colt and an Atlanta Falcon, and I put myself, Kerry Davis. I was 0.0006.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It made my day, though. I may have been the only person that has done it that put my name on it, but I was proud of myself.
That's cool that Dan Plesac had that moment. Dan Plesac, who got a save for the Blue Jays and the Brewers, and Dan Plesac's like, oh, man, I got to put my name down.
It's a great feeling.
You professional athletes have already lived these beautiful lives, and now you get to flex again over all of us normal people who will never put our names down in this game. So it's a wonderful thing.
It was. It really was.
We'll let you get back to your sprinkler system. Hope the water bubble gets taken care of. Have a great day. We'll be watching you on MLB tonight. And as always, thanks for your time, brother.
Hey, thank you. And if they're mad, I'm just going to forward them Randy Carricker's information. So, Randy, if you get a call, now you'll know why.
The 101 ESPN app, they can find us as long as they tune in. I don't care how.
All right, I'll let them know.
See you, man. That's Greg Amsinger, MLB Network, product of the Lindenwood University and a product of St. Charles High School, and grew up here in St. Louis and now is a superstar.
Yeah.
Pretty good. He's got it going over there.
Hopefully he gets the sprinkler situation figured out.
That is a frustrating thing. Home ownership is a lot, man.
There's a lot going on there, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you got to keep up with stuff, don't you?
God.
Yeah.
Who the hell decided this? Where are the landlords? Come fix this.
Make a phone call. Come and fix this, right. Coming up, we've got Take It or Leave It. Get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line, and that is 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! TIOLI next on 101 ESPN.
Opening drive on 101 ESPN. Brought to you by Sumner One. It's time for Take It or Leave It.
Want to say something? Want to put it out there? You like take it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your take it or leave it.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
Get your text in to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646 314-399-YO-HO. Okay, kids, word has it on the street that Rich Paul and Adele could be married any day now. Adele with a net worth of $220 million. Rich Paul at $120. He is LeBron's agent and runs LeBron's sports agency. And oh, by the way, he was the one that refused to sign a prenup, but they've decided to go forward without a prenup. But take it or leave it, they will surpass Beyonce and Jay-Z as the ultimate power couple in celebrity.
No, I'm
I
going to
gotta
leave
leave
that. Yeah, no. Jay-Z and Beyonce are top tier when it comes
So
to
is
all
Rich
that.
Paul and Adele.
I had people argue me that Jay-Z and Beyonce were more popular while he was president than Obama and President Obama and
I
Michelle
can see
Obama.
that beehive, man, they're
that-
powerful.
That would lead me to say I'm going to leave it.
That's true. That's a powerful couple. Yeah, that's a pretty powerful couple.
Yeah.
And you got Ben Affleck and J Lo. I think they're probably what they're in the top 5 maybe.
No,
Celebrity
I
couple?
don't know. I don't think people like them as much.
They don't like Ben.
Yeah.
They like
well,
J-Lo.
No, some people don't like J-Lo, though, because of all her beef with Mariah Carey, where
good point.
Mariah's hinted
That's
towards, and then
diva.
Ashanti, apparently J-Lo used some of her vocals. I don't know.
I read, word has it, that J Lo used to not like it when people would look in her eyes. Now she's kind of lightened up.
They
a
said the
little
same thing about Mariah Carey, I thought. Like she don't Prince too. They were some of these artists are strange. You couldn't look Prince in his eye. You just
What?
Right.
put your head
You
down.
tell me that J-Lo might not be like the most accomplished singer in the world?
I think some people
We're
say that
gonna
she's not a
What?
real
We're
singer.
not gonna settle for any J-Lo slander here.
We have a J-Lo stand
Well,
in
I
here.
mean,
What is
no,
there?
just
What is
about
there?
her-
Just about her singing. Just at her singing.
Exceptionally talented.
She's
She's talented.
She's very talented.
I
Yeah.
do like Ashanti though.
I'm just saying. I like Ashanti a lot.
Not a bad person to steal from.
You didn't even mean to have that expression, and you did.
I do. Randy, football is back today.
Yeah.
Browns versus the Jets. Take it or leave it. Deshaun Watson has a better year than Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to leave that.
I don't know, then, Randy. Deshaun Watson, when healthy and when obviously playing, he was a top 5 quarterback in Houston.
And he was doing it with nobody around him either.
That's what I'm saying.
But now he's in Cleveland.
Oh, that's not his fault.
But you can't do it in Cleveland. You just can't.
Well, if they hand the ball off to that guy, number 24, who squats like 600 pounds,
Then
that helps.
Yeah, that does. But I don't know if it helps him put up numbers. I think the league is set up for Aaron Rodgers to have a successful year in New York.
I don't know. I think Deshaun might actually. We'll see. Keep an eye on that one.
That's. I'll tell you what. If you look at the year that he led the league in passing yards, it was crazy. Let me hold on here 1 second, and I'll tell you who he was throwing to. The year he led the league in passing yards, and it was actually the last full season that Deshaun Watson played. He threw for 4,823 yards.
Wasn't it? Wasn't it DeAndre Hopkins? Wasn't that his receiver?
Was D-Hop there? I think he might have been gone by then.
Okay.
So their receivers.
Brandon Cooks.
I think he was there. Let's see. Receiving receptions. Here we go. Cooks with 81 catches. Will Fuller with 53. Not in the league anymore. Randall Cobb. Jordan Akins, David Johnson, Kiki Kuti, and then Duke Johnson, Darren Fells, Chad Hans. I mean, you had Cooks and just a group of guys. And he led the league in passing yards.
He was really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to have to leave it because I think Aaron Rodgers, as you said, Randy, I don't know. I feel like there's something going on there. They're cooking.
The league wants that.
Oh, yes. If we're going to talk about what everybody was talking about, scripting things last season.
We got the script. You all didn't get it in your email?
No, I'm still waiting for my script.
I think you have to be a former player.
Oh, okay. Well, last night, tonight is the night, so it usually comes out the night before. The script for the entire season.
That makes sense.
I was reading over it last night, and that's why I gave you that take it or leave it.
Us in the media.
But if you like, if you're a league and you like having a villain, then you want Deshaun Watson to succeed.
Well, they don't like villains.
They might. You never know.
They are villains.
They are villains.
They don't like other villains.
That's true. You got the ultimate villain out in L.A.
Last night.
I mean, how can you be more of a villain than the devil?
Yeah. That's very true. So last night, guys, Jack Flaherty talking to Orioles media, and his comments caused quite a stir. I don't know if you guys saw that. I think I sent it in the group chat last night.
Yeah.
So Jack, in this quote, said, "It's exciting to be on a good team. It's exciting to be on a team that's in it. There was a lot of promise in St. Louis. Things didn't work out. Sometimes that's the way it goes. You can't do much about it. And now it's about moving forward." Take it or leave it, that shouldn't stir up a bunch of controversy.
No, not at all. No.
And if it was somebody else.
Man, you know what? Cardinal fans, he didn't lie.
He was first class. He was as good as it gets.
This isn't a good team right now. He went to a much better team, and it is what it is.
Right.
Who are you mad at? People want to point a finger at anybody.
Yeah.
It's your fault. I've heard so many people blame this year.
We had promise and it didn't work out. I mean, it's probably the same people that said, "Oh, we had no chance at the beginning of the season because of our starting pitching." He was actually being nicer to the Cardinals than a lot of their fans were.
Yes. Well, and I think, too, just the perception that some people have about Jack Flaherty and his feelings towards St. Louis, what they think that he feels about it, I think really drives some of those comments. And there was a lot of rational people who stepped in on Twitter and said, "I don't see what's wrong." And I even texted you guys. I was like, did everybody see the Cardinals this season?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you watched this. It wasn't
on.
a good season. I've heard so many players make that same exact comment. It's not a slight on the organization. It's just more of, you're obviously going to a team that's competing right now, and it didn't work out this season.
Right. Matthew, what do you got on the text line?
Take it or leave it. Larsa Pippen will be spotted with Jaylen Brown before the season starts.
Take it.
Oh, leave it. That young woman is not bothering anyone.
Bulletin apparently official. Flash. Apparently she wants to have kids with Marcus Jordan.
I don't know.
She's like 48. We'll find the
Good luck.
We'll find the
She's
story.
48?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Good luck.
okay.
And Marcus is 32? 49 now for Larsa.
What did Jamie Foxx
Oh.
say, Carrie? Have one of your kids. Got you for 18 years. Take it or leave it. Contreras doesn't catch the most games for the Cardinals next season.
Take it.
Leave it.
Oh.
Leave it.
Give me a number.
Number of games that he catches?
Yeah.
90.
Okay.
Marcus
Which
said
would
there's
make
been,
him
Yep.
having more games.
I got to read this to you.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
In People magazine. This is the if you missed it, you can't continue to miss it. It's the iHeartRadio podcast, Separation Anxiety with Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan. Quote, "There's been conversations around having kids. When we go and meet people, I'm introducing you to some of my friends, or you introduce me to some of your friends, and I feel like it gets brought up. But I feel like we've never had a one-on-one private conversation about having children. But it's not out of the question."
Oh, okay.
49-year-old Larsa. What do you think?
Good for them.
Yep.
Whatever makes you
guess.
happy. I'm all for
As
that.
long as they're happy,
If
kids.
you're happy,
Yep.
do your thing, man.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Take it or leave it. Hudson pitching well is not a good thing. Mo will put him in the 2024 rotation.
I'm going to leave that.
I'm going to leave that. I really, really hope that, well, I don't know. I was about to say that the Cardinals wouldn't be duped by a good performance or two, but then again,
Net, how can it be a bad thing?
Have you watched the games this year? Have you been watching? Or
Okay, one more of these. One more of these fabulous take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. Ali Marmol is not your manager of the year.
I'll take it.
not your manager of the year.
yeah, listen. Come on.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's not going to win manager of the year, clearly. This team is last in the division. You generally have to be, I think, first in your division at least.
Yep.
And right now, they are dead last.
I would say that you're. Yeah, they are.
I think that
Can I get one quick
disqualifies
one
you,
in?
yeah.
Yeah, hold on. You got Gabe Kapler. I think David Bell, especially if they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And Skip Schumacher has to be right there, too.
Take it or leave it. The Jets finished third behind Miami and Buffalo. Rodgers, at end of the season, he's outside top 10 quarterbacks.
Leave it. I think
Finished
Miami.
third, Miami
yeah.
and Buffalo.
Miami losing Jalen Ramsey is a big blow to them.
He'll miss a few weeks.
Yeah, and Tua's not going to stay healthy the whole year. No, he's out for half the season. Ramsey
Is
with the knee.
Is it
got
the
a
half
knee.
season? I thought it was only a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 weeks.
No, it's like I think they said 6 to 8, and
Oh.
I think McDaniel said a significant amount of time. So hopefully he'll be back. He's
Not
going to
great.
work at it. No, so that was a big loss, and then Tua, is going to be hurt at some point.
Unfortunately.
Yes. Thank you,
He's
Matthew.
gonna be healthy this year. He's been doing taekwondo or jiu-jitsu.
Well, that's a good thing. Hey, is there a disconnect between the way that we think about the Cardinals and the way they think about their level of competitiveness? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Live from the Car Shield studio, this is the opening drive on 101 ESPN. A fresh perspective on the day's top stories. It's the opening drive's fresh take.
Brought to you by Schnucks Rewards. Reward yourself. Earn 2% back on every purchase with the Schnucks Rewards app.
Ownership wants to win again, and that is the commitment that group has made to the city of St. Louis. So I think there will be a massive trade in the offseason when it makes more sense, where they're not under the gun, and you'll see the Redbirds try to reinvent things on the mound, because that is the number one priority going into 2024.
That's Greg Amsinger, MLB Network, last hour with us here on the opening drive on 101 ESPN, where it's 8:04. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, and officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Now, Greg says the Cardinals are trying to win, that's a commitment that the Cardinals have tried to make. But the owner has not come out and said things, for example, like Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, says on the heels of trading Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. Steve Cohen said about going into free agency this offseason that the moves they made don't preclude us from being very competitive next year. I'm competitive, okay? I'm opportunistic. So we'll see what happens over the winter. Being competitive in 2024 is how Billy Epler, their general manager, has also described the Mets' intentions. How does Cohen define competitive? He said, quote, I I think the expectations were really high this year, and my guess is next year it'll be a lot lower. I don't want to roll a team out there we're going to be embarrassed by, but we also know that spending a fortune doesn't guarantee you a trip to the playoffs. Do you guys think, because I think there is, there is a disconnect between the level of competitiveness that Bill DeWitt Jr. has, maybe doesn't display as openly as Steve Cohen, and the level of competitiveness that many fans think he has?
You think that is there a difference?
I think the Cardinals try to win. I think if the Cardinals weren't trying to win, that they wouldn't go sign, even though it's foolish, as it turns out, but they wouldn't have given $87.5 million to Contreras. They wouldn't have traded for Arenado. They wouldn't have traded for Goldschmidt. They wouldn't have signed Steven Matz to the contract. You can do what the Cardinals are doing this year for a whole lot less money than they're doing now. Have they done it perfectly? Because they've had some missteps in terms of spending their money. Brooke, as you mentioned, and it's a fact, until the Cardinals traded their starting pitchers, they had the third highest starting rotation payroll in the National League. That tells me that they are trying to win. Now, is it working for them? No, but I think they're competitive. You can be competitive and still not win. You can be trying to be competitive and still not win, and I think that's what's happening to the 2023 Cardinals.
It's about signing the right people and then those people actually going out and performing, and that's pretty much what I was saying all season early on is guys have to perform better. The guys weren't performing at the level of their contracts, and Nolan Arenado was one of them. He was struggling at the beginning of the season. We've seen the inconsistency with the starting rotation and the relievers. It's just been a lot of inconsistent play, and you're paying for guys to be good, but they weren't good at that time.
I think that they have, personally, this is just my own belief, when it comes to roster construction and how they've looked at things, especially if you look at these past few years, that they were more competing against the division. And you even heard that so many times, even this season, where it was patience, where it seems like they were expecting the rest of the division to bottom out. And look at what happened. It didn't happen.
No.
And the roster construction just was not set in place. Offensively, obviously, good numbers, but there was times where it wasn't on a consistent basis. And then when you talk about pitching, the starting pitching, the bullpen, we've talked about the blown saves, but starting pitching just really putting the team in a hole early on in so many games, it felt like then they kind of backed away competitively in those games. So those are very frustrating moments. I would hope, and as you mentioned, they did make some moves where you would think they'd be competitive. It is a little bit concerning when last offseason you do go sign Willson Contreras. It seems like they were very laser focused on finding just a catcher this past offseason. You can't have that same mindset going into this season as what I was saying earlier, where, yes, of course, you're going to look at what Matthew Lipitor shows you. You're going to look at what Dakota Hudson shows you. But I hope that they aren't just going to rely on some of those internal options, and they realize we do need to go spend money. Now, I'm sure in their minds, they were like, well, we can't go spend too much money. Look at what happened with the Mets and the Padres. But you could also look to the Texas Rangers and their body of work of what they did this past offseason, the things in place, and also the way that they were able to supplement their coaching staff. Those are all those pieces to putting it together, chemistry-wise, fundamental-wise, and roster construction-wise, where it works out. And then you even have more of a competitive advantage where when guys go out, like a DeGrom, you're able to add more guys in. You're able to go and get a Jordan Montgomery, Max Scherzer, and supplement the staff even more.
Spending money on the staff when you are bringing in quality people is always a great expenditure. And Bruce Bochy had done it before. Mike Maddox had done it before. Donnie Ecker, their hitting coach out of the Cardinal system, has done it before. This is the second team where he's built a spectacular offense. He did it with the Giants a few years ago. And so the Rangers did go all in on spending money. That's one of the things. Since Tony La Russa left, who was a $5 or $6 million a year manager, Cardinals have not had the big money experienced manager. Taking nothing again away from Ali Marmol, but you can't have experience if you don't have experience. And Tony La Russa and Whitey Herzog and Joe Torre's experience benefited them to different levels when they were here. And Very rarely do managers in their first job win world championships. Occasionally it'll happen, but for the most part, people are on their second, third, fourth jobs when they win championships.
So what gives you confidence that the Cardinals can rectify this situation? Because clearly, to me, we talked about it, when we do Birdwatch, how well the Cardinals hitting has been. I'm looking at these numbers now. I've been going Major League and National Leagues. They're top 5 in OPS, hits, home runs, and average, which lets me know that they're doing pretty well at the plate. But what confidence do you have in this organization to figure out which pitchers are going to be the correct pitchers going forward? Right now, you're looking at 3 potential of the 5 to having to replace you. Dakota Hudson pitched great last night. Can he sustain that every single 5th day? Is that something you will be able to see? Will you see Liberatore sustain that every 5th day? That's my question going forward. What confidence do I have or do fans have in the organization to find the right pitchers to make sure that we are doing, that we have the right guys so we can win games?
And this answer is patently unfair, but I got to be real. The last time the Cardinals were in the World Series, Bill DeWitt was 71 years old. Now he's 81 years old. Generally, we don't remain cutting edge as we get to our 80s. We don't stay as mentally sharp or on top of things as we were when we were in our 70s or 60s or 50s. I don't know where he is in terms of his cutting edge philosophy in baseball. He brought in Jeff Luhnow and basically started analytics departments in baseball. Bill DeWitt Jr. did in 2003. It was 20 years ago. I don't know. So I can't answer your question because I don't know how sharp he is or if he is prepared to make the moves necessary or think through the moves necessary to get the Cardinals to where we all expect them to be.
But didn't you say that how long had they been thinking about Nolan Arenado before they even brought him here?
Yeah.
How long had they been thinking about it? So I think it would be a complete disservice to not only the fans, but Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt if you don't make sure that you're doing everything possible going into next season to show that you are going to compete, to go deep, not to have this happen whatsoever again. I think that it would be a complete disservice to the fans who continue to show up, which is amazing. That's, you talking about the best fans in baseball. That's being the best fans in baseball, continuing to show up despite what has happened this year. And if you're going to keep Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, you didn't trade them away, then you need to make sure you're doing whatever it takes to give this team the pieces it needs to be competitive next season.
But could you make the argument that the Cardinals did that for Cardinal legends in Wainwright and Molina?
Yeah.
Well, what's going to change for these guys that didn't start their careers here?
Yeah.
So I don't know that that's a real concern. It should be. Should you reward people's loyalty and desire?
Yes.
It should be. But I don't think that factors into what the Cardinals do. I really don't, because I think we would have seen they had plenty of opportunities to supplement Waino and Yachty over the years and didn't take advantage of it.
I wanted to get to this text from the 314. We talked a lot about the rules changes and how that has impacted the Cardinals, whether it be the pitch clock or the lack of the shift. This person from 314 says the biggest rule change that affected Mo was the actual change in the schedule, not playing the Central Division as many times as you had in the past, which, I mean, if you look at it, the Cardinals have been able to beat up on what has been a weak division. When you're not playing as many games in the division, maybe that change is what has caused this team to fail as well. There are a number of things you can point at, but I think that's one thing we haven't talked about or hadn't looked at also.
Yeah, I think that is a factor where you were so reliant on. Remember those days where you would play the Pirates many times and it would just bolster your win column?
30 wins. 30 wins.
Let's bring that back. Yeah, let's bring that back.
Right.
We wouldn't be last in the division if that was the case. But I think that reliance on the rest of the division somehow sinking while you rise to the top is something that you can't do moving forward when you're talking about in regards to the balanced schedule.
Last year, of the Cardinals' 93 wins, they went 38-19 against the Cubs, Reds, and Pirates. Add in the fact that they had the winning record against Milwaukee. They went 48-28 against the National League Central, and their overall record was 93-69. So 69, 79, 89. So they went 4 over against the rest of baseball and 20 over against their division. So yeah, that's a great point. Although I don't think this team was as good as last year's team.
No.
Last year you had Albert, you had Yachty, you had Yachty for half the season, which made a difference. And your pitching was better, and your fundamentals were better last year.
We're getting a fascinating dichotomy on the YouTube chat because we're going to get comments from a guy like Ron S. who says the fallacy all fans have is assuming the Cardinals ownership wants to win the World Series. That is why fans cannot understand the moves the team makes or fails to make. And so we have a negative comment like that and a couple other ones, and yet I put out a poll. Do you think the Cardinals ownership cares about winning? And yes is 69%, no is 31%. So it seems like the vocal minority is definitely playing out in this case.
Yeah, again, if you're going to spend whatever $165 million, why not spend $80 million? If you don't want to win the World Series, why would you go ahead and spend $165 million? Why would you have these people here if you don't want to win?
Yeah, I just think that I would hope that they would do as much as possible to be competitive. I know that you have the track record of what things have looked like with free agent signings in the past, and it's not great whatsoever, but you should be doing everything possible, especially if you are going to keep Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, then you should be supplementing this staff.
And what you need to do is be smarter. Right?
Yes.
It's not about the amount of money you spend. The Braves and
Exactly.
Padres have shown us that. It's about being smart. Tampa Bay, I think, is 27th, and Baltimore is 28th in payroll this year.
Yes.
2 best teams in the American League. It's about being smart, not about spending a lot of money. That is today's Fresh Take here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, NFL training camps are underway. We've got NFL news and notes coming your way on 101 ESPN. Hey, Hoffman Brothers has been serving St. Louis for over 40 years. Best known for heating and air conditioning. But did you know that they added plumbing and drains and sewer teams back in 2011? For over 12 years, Hoffman Brothers has been providing repairs and replacements from everything including sewer lining and clogged drains, water heaters, sewer repairs, toilet clogs, installing faucets and toilets, hydro jetting, and more. For all of your sewer, drain, and plumbing needs, visit HoffmanBros.com. That's HOFFMANN, HoffmanBros.com to schedule directly online. And if you want a new appliance, then you need to know that not only does Hoffman Brothers do appliance repairs, but they do appliance installation as well. That's right. Refrigerators, dishwashers, microwaves, washers, dryers, ovens, stoves, and more. If you have a problem with an appliance, have Hoffman Brothers out to check it out. And if they can't fix it, they'll tell you, well, you know what? We can deliver an appliance the next day. They're pretty awesome about it. Give them a call, 314-664-3011, or find them on the web at Hoffman Bros. That's HOFFMANN, HoffmanBros.com.
Opening Drive on 101 ESPN. Brought to you by Sumner One.
All right, the NFL season starts tonight. It's the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. The Browns and the Jets. You'll hear it here on 101 ESPN starting at 6:30. Aaron Rodgers will be in uniform for the Jets for the first time. Probably will not play, but the story of the NFL offseason was his move, and he'll be in uniform wearing number 8 for the New York Football Jets.
It's going to be an interesting year for them. They had a really good team last year. The record doesn't show that. They needed a quarterback. They went out and got Aaron Rodgers in the offseason. You got the rookie offensive player of the year, the rookie defensive player of the year. Could have had the offensive rookie player of the year in Breece Hall had he not gotten hurt. So there's a lot of talent. You re-sign Quinnen Williams. They have a lot of talent going forward. And it's going to be intriguing to see how well, they bring over Alan Lazard. It's a lot of pieces that they brought in, and maybe signing Dalvin Cook, which could really put them in a position to solidify what they have on that offense.
Interesting story in Cincinnati for all of the talk from running backs around the NFL about how they're underpaid. Joe Mixon took a pay cut in Cincinnati so that he could help the team win.
And to stay. I mean, it was the best move for him. Probably not financially, but for his career, having another year there for a team that he believes has the potential, and they've shown it over the last couple of years to be a championship team, got into the Super Bowl, came up just short because of Aaron Donald and his ability to get to the quarterback. But just that to me is a great offense. Well, there are a lot of offenses in this AFC that are going to be potent, and that Bengals offense is just another one that is going to be really, really good.
Speaking of offenses, I wanted to ask you about Cooper Kupp and what you think about that injury. That's pretty big, especially for fantasy, because he was in my fantasy last year, and that was painful. So.
When he's healthy, he's going to get 155, 160, 170 targets. They're going to throw the ball. Matthew Stafford almost doesn't know anybody else on that offense when he's healthy. It's like, is Cooper open? If he's not, I'm throwing it to him anyway. So,
But when he does what he's able to do, then it's hard to ignore him, right?
It really is. He's a special talent, and so, I think for him it's only a couple of weeks, but a hamstring is one of those injuries. We talked about it before with quads and hamstrings. Those are injuries you don't want to have because they never feel completely healthy. It's always the fear that you're going to pull it again. It feels like it's tugging at you, even when the doctors say, no, you're good. And you're like, no, I'm not. This is not how I normally feel when I run.
And time flies, you say, when he's healthy. I wonder if Cooper Kupp is ever going to be healthy again.
Yeah.
He's 30.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of season-ending injuries, including last year, and now he has the hamstring. And by the way, the Rams are going to have the least 2 years after winning the Super Bowl, the least experienced roster in the National Football League this year.
Wow.
Life comes at you fast.
It
when you
sure
have
does.
them picks.
Yeah, but they've got their. It's cool that it's really cool that they've got their ring. I'm really glad that they got their ring.
Really?
Are you?
Yeah, well, it's.
Are you more happy now that they're in misery?
Well, I feel bad for their fans. And weird stuff happens when you start losing. It happens to the owner.
You assholes go back to St. Louis.
So like you say, Kerry, life comes at you fast. 2 years ago, he's the toast of the town, and now all of a sudden...
You're going to get people attacking the old Stan if he ever comes back to Missouri. Mm-hmm. Do you think he comes back often?
No. No, well, we won't see him. He'll fly in on that private jet. He'll have a disguise on. Yeah. How about Peyton Manning attending training camp practice for the Packers to hang out with Jordan Love, their quarterback?
He is an intriguing player. That whole NFC North, I know we're going to get our text from our favorite Vikings fan here shortly, but that NFC North is an intriguing division for me because the Vikings obviously lost Dalvin Cook, which was an integral part of their offense. Adam Thielen is not there. Jordan Love with the Packers, they have everything still in place. Other than Alan Lazard, everything is still in place. That young core receivers, Dobbs and Christian Watson, came on late last year and were really good. I think Jordan Love might win this division with the Green Bay Packers, and he might be better than what people are assuming him to be. It's going to be intriguing to watch. And Justin Fields is another one in that division. I know we're not talking much about the Detroit Lions, who were the up-and-coming team. I kind of feel like they may take a step back from what they were expected to be last year. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers and Jordan Love have a really good year, which would lead me to believe that's why Peyton was there having conversations with him. He probably sees something in Jordan Love that we haven't been able to see yet.
And one other note, word from New England that Bill Belichick won't commit to Mac Jones as the starting quarterback for the Patriots on opening day. What's up with that?
Good job, Bailey Zappi. He put a little pressure on old Mac. I love it. What difference does it make? I mean, you didn't know who the OC was last year, and we saw that how that turned out.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be the same thing for New England.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Mac Jones is going to start, but it doesn't matter. Who are they throwing the ball to out there?
I think they got Juju.
Oh, they did get Juju.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't.
And they got a couple of. Well, they got rid of one of the high-priced tight ends that they got.
Yeah, Hunter Henry. He's gone.
He might still be there, but he's hurt all the time. Who's the guy they got from Tennessee? The tight end
from Florida International.
But I think he's gone now.
Why can't I say? Why don't I know? Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, Jonnu
Smith.
It's a great name.
That is a great name.
I don't know what the
Hunter Henry, great Razorback.
I don't know if the New England Patriots are going. They probably finish last in the division, in my opinion.
I would be crushed if that happened.
I don't think you said two things today. I don't think you're telling us the truth.
I'm not.
Okay.
You know what? That'd be a typical Bill Belichick season without Tom Brady, right? If he doesn't. And oh, by the way, speaking of Tom Brady, happy birthday, Tommy!
Oh, happy birthday, TV.
6 today. And selling all kinds of supplements and getting people to drink water and be healthy and buying into soccer teams and football teams. And pretty soon he'll be the owner of the Raiders.
Living his life.
Yeah, he is living his dating Irina Shayk. Is that her name? S-H-A?
I don't know how to say it, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Another Victoria's Secret model.
Oh, he's all over that. I wonder how he finds
Do you think there's
them.
any controversy?
I would say that, the colleagues probably are kind of...
Are they talking?
The word on the street was that Giselle desired for Tom to move on, but not with a colleague.
Oh,
you think they get around the water cooler and talk about what old Tommy Boy is doing? Look at him.
What he's got going for him.
Hey, when you end it, you don't get to set terms.
That's true.
This is true.
This is true.
Yeah, this is true.
Can't have it all, huh?
No. So, NFL news and notes. And again, Browns and Jets, 6:30 pregame here on 101 ESPN. And we will have NFL football for you throughout the NFL season here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, Matthew, do you have a fighter today? You need a fighter? Okay, if you text into the text line, the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! Just text in your name and the word fight to that line, and perhaps Matthew will pick you as our fighter today here on 101 ESPN.
This is Rocc with your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals last night with a 7-3 win over the Twins and getting 4 home runs. Tyler O'Neill, Jordan Walker, Lars Nootbaar, and Alec Burleson leading the offense there. Dakota Hudson with a great start. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Cardinals back in action today. 6:45 first pitch for Game 3 of this series against the Twins. It's going to be Sonny Gray for the Twins, facing off against the lefty for the Cardinals, Matthew Liberatore. That is your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome back to the opening. Welcome back to the opening drive. I'm Kerry Davis, joined by Brooke Grimsley, and it is time for the fight. And our fighter today is Anthony, and our producer, Rocchio, is singing Jamie Foxx in our ears. Okay. Anthony, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Are you ready to take on Randy Carricker?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Against which AL club did Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hit streak end? Is it the Baltimore Orioles, the Cleveland Indians, or the New York Giants?
Let's go with the Orioles.
Which New York Jets defender knocked out Drew Bledsoe and cursed the rest of us with 23 years of Tom Brady? That felt personal, Rocc, when you wrote this question. James Ferrier, Mo Lewis, or John Abraham?
The first one.
Ronald Acuna just became the first player since 2007 to hit 25 home runs and steal 50 bases in a season. Who was the last player to do it? Is it Hanley Ramirez, Jose Reyes, or Rajai Davis?
Let's say Jose Reyes.
In baseball history, only one player has more seasons with 30-plus home runs and 100 RBI seasons than Albert Pujols' 12. Who is it? Is it Barry Bonds, Jimmy Foxx, or Alex Rodriguez?
Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod.
All right, we'll double-check our scoring. We'll bring in Randy Carricker.
Anthony, how you feeling?
Not great.
Not great. Okay. Well, it happens sometimes. They were worried that when you first called in, that you may be Anthony Stalter. You are clearly not Anthony Stalter, correct?
No.
In disguise.
Yeah, just checking. You didn't sound like him. Just wanted to make sure. Whoa.
Oh,
Did we get that on film?
Gosh.
Oh, my.
There's things
That might be on the YouTube channel.
What just happened? Oh, wait.
Just wait and
We
see.
can watch this on YouTube right now. Oh, I'm watching. Here we go.
Why is mine so delayed?
Did you see it?
Oh,
that was a moment.
Okay?
I'm fine.
That was scary. At least you didn't lose the banana. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
Randy.
That's the
I
most
was
important
talking
part.
to our general manager, John Kioski. He loves our show, which is good. It's always good when the boss loves the show.
That is
That's
wonderful.
important.
Yeah.
Look at Rocc put his hands up. All right.
Because I blame him for everything. That's why.
Randy, say hello to Anthony.
Anthony, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Randy. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing. We appreciate it.
Anthony, I'm sorry. He is loading up his machine as we speak. I wish we could get cameras to show your machine.
I was just
over there.
moving stuff around.
I thought you were loading the key and queuing it up.
Well,
I saw red buttons light up. That meant you hit something.
In the off chance that I win today, I want to be prepared.
Okay, all right. Just in the off chance. All right, here we go. Against which AL club did Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hit streak end?
I think it was against Cleveland with the Indians back in the day.
Which New York? Ooh, back in the day. Which New York Jets defender knocked out Drew Bledsoe and cursed the rest of us with 23 years of Tom Brady? Very personal.
Mo Lewis. Mo. What's his MO?
Ronald Acuna just became the first player since 2007 to hit 25 home runs and steal 50 bases in a season. Who was the last player to do it?
2007, somebody did that, huh? 2007, that would have been the year that who would have won the 2007 World Series? The year after we being the Cardinals, because we were in 2006. We won the World Series in 2006. In 2007.
Astros?
What?
White Sox? Astros?
That was 2005. So 2007 would have been the Marlins beating the Tribe in the World Series. Again, they were the Indians. 25. We're at 25 and 50. Is that right, or 20 and 50?
25 home runs, 50
stolen bases. I will do the lifeline here, sir.
Hanley Ramirez, Jose Reyes, or Rajai Davis?
I think I'm going to go with Raj Davis. He had a couple of 45, 46 steal seasons. Raj Davis. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with him.
In baseball history, only one player has more seasons with 30-plus home runs and 100-plus RBI seasons than Albert Pujols' 12. Who is it?
12 seasons of 30 and 100. I'm going to go Henry Aaron.
We have a winner in today's fight. It's a close one, though. Anthony, just a question away, potentially, from sending this one to overtime. Was it enough? Does Randy Carricker keep on rolling on? We got to start getting some wins for these listeners. Let's go. Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Carricker.
The fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis, with the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
Oh.
Oh, not that one.
Oh.
Believe it.
Carrie, is it Sarah McLachlan and the little kid, like the two most savage of the drops? Good job.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, and then Sarah McLachlan. Are those his two most savage
I think
drops?
so.
I think those are the two worst ones.
He won't remember them, though, is the thing. He never does.
Never remembers
You
what.
remember, I'm saying, because you go through so many people, you beat so many of the people that they're just, faces to you.
Nameless faces.
Yeah, nameless faces.
I've told people in the past, it's not the fight, it's the bludgeon.
Yeah.
And he takes pride in it.
Anthony got close. Randy Carricker took you down just 2-1 today in the fight, Anthony.
I always wondered what it felt like to sit through the barrage of
How did it feel?
It really put me in my place.
Didn't need to do that.
Yeah, that seems like a little harsh. Let's go through those answers anyhow. Against which AL club did Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hit streak end? It was in fact the Cleveland Indians, and it was also Mo Lewis, the New York Jets defender that knocked out Drew Bledsoe and cursed us all with 23 years of Tom Brady in the NFL. Happy birthday to Tom Brady today. Yeah. Ronald Acuna just became the first player since 2007 to hit 25 home runs and steal 50 bases in a season. Hanley Ramirez was the last player to do that, obviously. Marlins having a pretty good year. And in baseball history, only one player has more seasons with 30-plus home runs and 100 RBI than Albert Pujols is 12, and it is Alex Rodriguez with 14.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible there, but a 2-1 win for Randy Carricker. Again, thank you so much for joining the show and joining the fight today, Anthony.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Good job,
Thank you very much.
Can I give a shout out to somebody on the on YouTube machine?
Yeah.
Oh, Josh Henry, modern looking studio, thousands of dollars of equipment, and still a thermostat on the wall from 1980. You
can see that.
are
Oh, you
correct.
can see that
And
because
it
it's in your shot.
freezing in here.
It is a cold day in here.
It is a really cold day. I need a blanket. I don't want a coat. I don't want a jacket. Not a sweater. I need a blanket.
We'll see you with like a blanket,
Oh, a
sweatshirt,
shawl.
and a beanie.
Someone send Carrie a Snuggie.
I will wear it.
Or like the big jackets on the sidelines.
Yes,
NFL
one of
players.
those.
Yeah.
We're going to bring a heater in here.
We got to work on this, yeah. Yeah, I'm a grizzled veteran. That's why I brought the jacket with me.
I thought about it this morning. I was like, oh, it's going to be. Then I looked at the temperatures. It's going to get up to 80, 89. I was like, I don't need a sweatshirt.
Not today.
Clearly, I do.
Whoopsies.
We do. Yeah, it is. I'll bet you that I think this studio was built in like 2002, and I bet that's the thermostat from 2002.
Yeah.
21 years old, maybe?
That's still there.
Yeah.
Still kicking.
Keep it going. Coming up on 101 ESPN, we have our Birdwatch. Stick around. Hey, how would you like to have a magnificent lunch? You can have one at the Fenton Bar and Grill. Try their chicken Caesar wrap. It's delicious grilled chicken with romaine blend, fresh red onions, Romano cheese, and Caesar dressing. It's only $10.95, and it is at the Fenton Bar and Grill. Order that up with some of their spectacular tater tots, and you'll have a wonderful business lunch or a get-together with the fellas, or maybe you just want to head on over for a happy hour. Well, today's the day to head to the Fenton Bar and Grill and say hi to Alicia and Kelly and Megan and Jamie and Colleen. The whole gang over there are so friendly and so helpful, and they'll treat you right. And they're sports fans at the Fenton Bar and Grill. They love to talk baseball. They love to talk hockey, whatever you want to talk about, including the Women's World Cup. They show all of their games there. You will enjoy your time when you go to the Fenton Bar and Grill on Rudder Road in Fenton. A little bit of road construction going on, but easy to get to. Just go to the soccer park and then head on over to the Fenton Bar and Grill and have a great time. Learn more at FentonBarandGrill.com. When you stop by, tell them Randy sent you at the Fenton Bar and Grill.
Brought to you by Sumner One. We're flying down to the field to give you the latest on your St. Louis Cardinals. This is Bird Watch on the opening drive.
Kevin Mueller texts in on the old YouTube. He says, I'm finished. He says that the fight is over, that I've slipped, that I can't remember anything anymore. Kevin, you couldn't be more right. So, yeah, it's so. But it happens, you know. Everybody slips at some point. Father Time is undefeated, as it were. So I will accept my fate.
I don't know that that's the case. Well, Kevin, you should try old Randy Carricker in the fight if you feel that way.
Kevin's way smarter than I am.
Kevin, now, if you feel that way, you are more than welcome to text in, and maybe we can just get you in there.
Yeah,
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, make it happen.
It's time for the Bird Watch because the Cardinals did win last night. Let's start with Brooke. Brooke, what do you got for us?
Oh, you guys know what mine is going to be. Newt.
Oh, Newt.
Yes.
Newt.
Oh my gosh. I love the energy because you know what? Lars Nootbaar brings the energy, guys. He's had a really hot bat as of late. You saw his performance last night, 2 for 4 with a 2-run homer in the win, and he just has been looking pretty good. And you had that catch as well. As of late, collecting multiple hits 4 times over his current 6-game hitting streak. So that would be putting him at like a cool 500 average with 4 homers, 7 RBI, and 5 runs over that scorching hot stretch for Lars Nootbaar. He's looking pretty good right now, guys. And that might anger some people. I could think of one person in particular. But at the same time, this is what you want to see from Lars Nootbaar. Lead off. Lars Nootbaar.
And the Cardinals lead off Lars.
Yes.
The Cardinals have thought highly of him for a while now, and they thought his potential, and it wasn't just the Cardinals, by the way. Other teams have asked for Lars Nootbaar in a lot of trades, and he's having a pretty good year, and maybe he's reaching that point where he does achieve the star status that the Cardinals and other teams expected of him.
I think that he will be a Cardinal for a while. And I know that there's all this kerfuffle about if they should have kept him or if they shouldn't have. I think that there's a reason that they see something in him and want to keep him around. Fans like him. He's exciting. And that's, of course, me speaking from the Nutty Neuters of Newt Nation, President CEO fan club. But obviously, they're seeing something as to why they want to keep him around. And they even made that clear way before the trade deadline, making sure that he was part of the conversations of what they see as this core for 2024 and moving forward.
Yeah, I thought the play he made in center field last night was great. He tracked the ball really well. Got turned around a couple of times, but was able to make a play with the wall right there and falling into it. You know, those are the things that keep you on the field, as well as, you know, hitting the ball out of the field. It definitely will allow you to play more. So. And, you know, they got some time. We'll see what the end of this season looks like for this outfield and for this middle infield.
Yeah.
My bird watch is going to be one Jordan Walker. The month of June was not very good. Sorry, the month of July was not very good to old Jordan Walker. He hit .209 with an OPS of .609 and just, you know, struggling through. July was not great. June was spectacular, .338, a .976 OPS. And so for me, watching the maturation of this young man, and more importantly, the Cardinals giving him the opportunity to play through it. You talked about it yesterday, Randy, how important that was and is for a young player to get those reps, to have those opportunities. Last night, going 2 for 3, hit a home run, had a walk in the game before, which I think was allowing him. Sometimes it's like a shooter. They got to see the ball going in. You get on base one time, and now you're able to start seeing the ball better. And I think that's the case for Jordan Walker. I'm excited for him. The one complaint that I have had over the last, I guess, 2 to 3 weeks when they started doing this is the substitution late in the game, because, I mean, he's at some point that bat is going to be needed as well. His turn in the lineup was coming up, I believe, in the 7th inning when he was taken out of the game. So, you know, that's going to play a part in it as well. And you have to get those reps in the outfield to get better. The only way players get better is by actually playing. doing it in practice is not the same intensity, it's not the same level. That's just to kind of build the muscle memory of how to do it. When you get in the game and actually have to do it, that's when you start to gain confidence. And so him getting those reps in the outfield over and over again, the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, when it really matters is what's important. So hopefully they start to come to that conclusion as well and give him those opportunities to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Just let him deal with adversity, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you'll have bombs like he hit last night on a regular basis.
My question is why? I would just like to know why. I don't know if somebody has asked that. Why do they do
What's
that?
the purpose?
Yeah, maybe there's something that we don't know. I don't know.
I don't know the purpose. Like some things you understand. If it happens every now and then, okay. But this isn't a team that is going to. This isn't playoff baseball.
No.
It's not even close to playoff baseball. He's going to be your starting right fielder going forward, correct?
Yes.
You should let him play.
So.
Are you going to do this every time? Are you going to do this for 140 games next year? I don't think so. So give him the reps.
Exactly.
And you're winning. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Guys, the Cardinals need pitching, right? What if I offered you a starting pitcher that won twice as many decisions as he lost?
Okay.
What if I offered you a pitcher that has pitched in the major leagues for 6 years and never had a losing season? What if I offered you a pitcher that had a career earned run average of 3.64 and over his career had averaged 6.3 strikeouts per 9 innings? What if I offered you a pitcher like that?
Did this pitcher ever play for the Cardinals?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, sounds familiar.
What if this pitcher had gone 34-17 over the course of his career? Pretty good, right?
That's not bad.
That pitcher's name is Dakota Hudson.
I knew this is where you were going with that. I knew that this is where you were going with that. So then how do you explain the drop-off that we've seen, that even where he needed to stay in the minors, and before he got called up, what was his ERA, 6?
Yeah, but here's my question. Did he need to stay in the minors, or was it a Jordan Walker situation where you just need to get the guy reps and let him pitch?
Yeah.
Because when you have let him pitch, his 162-game averages are 13-7 with a 3.64. And another note that I will give you in those 162-game averages is the innings pitched, which is extraordinary. It's 163 innings pitched per 162 games of a season. Maybe the guy just needs an opportunity. Maybe you just have and I've said this before about Dakota Hudson. The thing that you need to do to enjoy Dakota Hudson is not watch him pitch. Just
that's intriguing.
Wait for the result. Wait for the result.
Don't watch the game?
Don't watch the game. Just wait for the result. Go all Billy Bean and see what happens.
Just leave the ballpark.
Yeah.
So you're saying you think he should be a part of the starting rotation. Is that what you're saying, Randy?
I'm saying that maybe over the course of the last half dozen years, he hasn't gotten enough of an opportunity. When he pitched in 33 games, 32 starts back in 2019, he won 16 games. 2020 was obviously a COVID year that you throw out. And then 21, he was hurt. Even with the injured year, that year he was, it was no sample size at all. But then last year was really his only bad year. He went 8-7 with a 4.45. And I think sometimes we take a look at the peripheral numbers, which the analytics people love, but we don't look at the bottom line. And as Bill Parcells famously said, don't tell me about the labor, just show me the baby.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you need to do with Dakota Hudson and his results.
Didn't you also say that don't trust what you see in the second half of the season from this team?
Here's the thing.
I think Dakota might fit into that category.
But when they went to the NLCS in 2019, that's when he won the 16 games. So it's not like he hasn't pitched in pressure situations before.
What about walks? Somebody pointed that out. What about walks?
See, that's the stuff. Do you want to win the game, or are you concerned about walks and getting double plays after that? That's the thing. That's why I'm saying don't watch the games. Just wait for the end result.
He led the majors in walks in.
He did
in
2019 when he won 16 games.
He did. And I guess that's a credit to him. If you get guys on base, like you said, if you're a ground ball pitcher, a pitch to contact type of pitcher, I think it helped more when they had the shift and you were able to hit. People were able to hit into double plays. I'm intrigued to see how the rest of this season goes. This is next year will be his 7th year. And so you're looking at a guy, normally you know who a guy is by year 2 or 3. It's familiar, you're comfortable, you know whether they're going to be a star, a superstar, a guy that plays every 5th day or every day if they're a position player, or if they're a utility player. You can gauge that by then. I think the Cardinals have kind of gauged who he is. Normally, once you get this far into your career, you're not blooming into superstardom at that point.
And that's my point here, is what the concern is with Jordan Walker. I think they've done to Dakota Hudson. They haven't given him enough of an opportunity to show them what he is.
217 texted, and with Libby shoves today, well, there's your 4 rotation spots solved.
Bingo, bango.
There you go. Put it down.
bongo.
That's what Randy said. You got your rotation set for next season. I heard it.
Matsy, Hudson, Libertor,
That's
and
what
Rookie.
I heard. That's Randy's starting rotation. Somebody write it down.
I'm going to take your advice and not watch the games then.
Oh, there we go. That's your Birdwatch here on 101 ESPN. Coming up as we roll on, we're going to talk to Kiley McDaniel of ESPN.com. He is their minor league and draft expert. We're going to talk a little bit about the Cardinals player acquisitions at the deadline next on 101 ESPN.
Dive deep into Cardinals baseball with a Redbird Report podcast. Hosted by World Series champion Brad Thompson. It's BT with nonstop Cards talk on the Redbird Report podcast. Download and listen to the podcast right now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app.
Get in your comfort zone with routine HVAC system checks twice a year from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Our maintenance plans start at $15 a month and include discounts on repairs and priority service. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
I'm Dr. TJ from the Institute of Natural Health. I'm inviting you to check out our show, Wellness 101, every Sunday at 7 a.m. right here on ESPN. On Wellness 101, we talk about how to optimize your health as well as all things health-related. We discuss how to take control of your health by being your own health advocate, and we offer practical tips for you to become the healthiest you possible. On Wellness 101, we cover topics like optimizing hormones, thyroid health, gut function, cardiovascular health, sexual health and performance, and many more. So join Aaron and me every Sunday for Wellness 101 at 7 a.m. on ESPN.
Hey, BT here. Are you looking for a job or tired of the one that you have? Well, family-owned O'Fallon Casting is growing, and they're looking to hire you. Join their team today to receive great pay and benefits while supporting our nation's largest defense and aerospace contractors. Current openings include experienced maintenance technicians, welders, quality, visual inspection, and more. Located in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway 70 and T.R. Hughes. Visit their website at o'falloncasting.com or call 636-272-6176. Look for your new career at o'falloncasting.com.
Made to shine. Real stories from Shane Company customers.
I was 20 years old, stationed in Hawaii, and 2 weeks before I was deployed, I met the love of my life. The second I returned, I bought a cheap ring at the Base Exchange and proposed. 15 years later, I went to Shane Company and got her a one-of-a-kind ring with a pear-shaped diamond. It's the ring she deserves.
Shine forever with Shane Company's hand-selected diamonds, as unique as your love story. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
Get ready to run. Don't miss the 5th annual Gateway PVA 5K on September 9th at Tower Grove Park. Whether you're a seasoned runner or just starting out, this is the perfect opportunity to challenge yourself and have fun. The event will boost needed support for paralyzed veterans throughout the Gateway area. Participants can run, walk, or roll a 5K or 1 mile. All participants will get a t-shirt, and the top 3 5K finishers in each age group will win a medal. Every 5K runner is chip time so that all the results are official. To register, go to Facebook or signup.com and search for Gateway PVA 5K. Sponsored by Conforma.
You could hire one person to handle your digital strategy.
What's up?
Or for the same amount of money, you can hire an entire team of experts.
Mark.
Sarah.
Ben.
Kim.
Scott.
Kristen. We're 2060 Digital, a national digital advertising agency based right here in St. Louis. Our digital marketers, client strategists, videographers, and more have worked on hundreds of campaigns in the healthcare, home services, automotive, and education sectors. 2060 Digital, a team of experts working for you. Google 2060 Digital to find out more.
Hey, St. Louis, Eddie McVeigh here from Maggie O'Brien's. When you head downtown for a concert or Cards or Blues game, and now for the St. Louis City soccer game, please come see us at Maggie O'Brien's before and after your event. Take our shuttle to and from or stay in-house and watch your favorite team on our multiple high-def TVs. We look forward to seeing you soon at one of our 2 locations in Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh or downtown at the corner of Market and 20th Street. Union Station is next to us.
Your exclusive home of St. Louis Blues hockey. WXOS HD1 East St. Louis 101 ESPN. You want to say something? Then say it. Use the mic drop feature in the 101 ESPN app. Search the 101 ESPN app now in the App Store or Google Play. Live from the Car Shield studio, this is the opening drive on 101 ESPN.
You know, as far as like what expectations are, I think we'll allow the remaining part of this season to play out. I think obviously it's immediate depth. As you guys can imagine, there's been times where we've had trouble even filling out 13 roster spots up here. And so I think the flexibility that this does for us is pretty immediate, but we also do believe that some of these young men have some upside that will contribute for a long time here.
It's the Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, at the conclusion of the trade deadline a couple of days ago with Brooke Grimsley and Super Bowl champ Kerry Davis. I'm Randy Carricker, and we go to the celebrity line, and Kiley McDaniel, who is the draft and minor league expert for ESPN.com. He is a baseball insider, joins us now on 101 ESPN in St. Louis. Kiley, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, and obviously this is an atypical season for the St. Louis Cardinals, but an interesting trade deadline. And the Cardinals got 10 guys, 7 pitchers of the 10 that they received in all of these deals. Let's start with this. Is there anybody that stands out for you that the Cardinals acquired? Any minor leaguer, any prospect that the Cardinals acquired that you really have taken a liking to?
Yeah, I would say the aim was obviously trying to get guys that could be starting pitchers potentially as soon as next year, but probably more comfortably in 25. I liked TK Roby the most. He was a pitcher that I liked. That it was sort of like average stuff, good athlete, good command, all those sort of pieces. Has continued improving in the minors. He was sort of the headliner of the Jordan Montgomery Stratton part of the deal. But I would also say Sam Reverse, the Dutch pitcher that was, you probably don't hear that a lot on the radio, that was acquired from Toronto, signed at, I believe, 18 out of the Netherlands and was just sort of a nobody that was throwing in the mid-80s. And now he's sitting in the low 90s and looks like he could be like a big league starting pitcher maybe as soon as in the big leagues as soon as next year. So there's definitely like a type they were going after, which also includes Drew Rom from Baltimore, another sort of like touch and feel lefty that'll definitely be like a big leaguer of some sort.
Well, and also you mentioned in one of your tweets talking about those guys, you brought up Sajasi as well. He's very well-rounded. The Cardinals really like guys where you're able to get a lot out of him, and it seems like he has that ability. What touches you about him?
Yeah, he was one of those guys that, I'm like the draft guy. So like when I don't know about a draft prospect late in the process, I get really frustrated and then try to rush to catch up. He was a name out of Southern California that I didn't know his name until like the month before the draft. Popped up really late. And it's partly because like he was like a smaller guy that wasn't that strong. And then during the spring against lesser competition, got stronger, sort of checked the boxes. Texas plucked him late in the draft. I want to say $400,000 or $500,000, which is, pretty small late in the draft. But he's really taken a step forward in the last couple of years in the minors that he is now a guy that's probably second base, third base, might be like, 260, 270 hitter, might be 15, 18 homers, could definitely play the outfield. Like, seems like one of those guys that if things go pretty well, like he'll be a good utility guy that could probably start on some bad teams. But also if he's like a notch better than you think, there's like a little bit of that sort of Ben Zobrist, Marwin Gonzalez, those guys that are like championship level utility guys that start on almost every team. Like he's in that general area, which is, again, a type of player the Cardinals have had success with.
Kiley, what's the consensus of this Cardinals organization around the league? I think here in St. Louis, we're probably a little bit too close to it. So what is everyone else looking from the outside looking in? What are they seeing?
It's sort of that this season was an aberration, like bad luck. Like this is one of those organizations that always figures out a way to make the playoffs, even if you don't always, love the move they make or whatever. Like it just tends to happen, which, as sort of silly as that may sound to some of the more analytical types, there is some real sort of, I guess they call it devil magic in other parts of the country. But there's like something going on there with like the institutional knowledge and like multiple decades worth of like just sort of figuring it out and getting good players to come here and selling out the stadium and all that kind of thing. And so you kind of look at like, oh, this is a pretty good team, and they just kind of got hurt and underperformed, and not all the young guys integrated right away, and it just didn't like click. But it's like, all right, this is the team everyone thought was going to make the playoffs at the beginning of the year. Like it's not that different, and they're taking a bunch of money off the books. But I'd say half the guys that are leaving, there are young players that can take their job by like the middle of next season. So I think it's a little bit of a transition that this really good group in the minor leagues, I think at one point they were in the top 10 farm system. I think that this is sort of like the growing pains of waiting for that group to come over and maybe waiting to fill in some holes because you've got a really good player in the upper minors waiting to take that spot.
ESPN's Kiley McDaniel with us on 101 ESPN. And Kiley, one of the things that I heard from over at Busch Stadium, and tell me if you agree with this, is that these 10 players taken as a portfolio, let's make it 9 because John King is already here at the major league level, but the Cardinals are kind of looking at it as another draft. Maybe you got a first round quality guy and a second and a third and a fourth. Is it reasonable to look at this haul that way?
Yeah, and I actually believe, it obviously gets like skewed a bit where like a guy goes in the first round and then 2 years later he's sort of proven it in the minors. He immediately looks like a high first rounder just because he's older. But if you were to take like the most recent first round pick, Chase Davis, and throw him into this group, I believe I would have Roby first and then Sagisi and reverse right there with Chase Davis. So like basically like all 4 of them are in a similar area. And I think it's obviously like weird to consider, but if Roby as a guy in the upper minors was thrown into the draft, I think he would go in like the top 15, 20 picks basically.
Wow.
So yeah, if you were to like put that whole group of guys that have been acquired this summer together, you can easily just throw the first couple round picks on top of sort of the headliners or secondary pieces in these trades, and yeah, you've got a nice like half dozen guys that figure to be contributors or nice trade pieces or like will impact next year's team in some way.
Well, and that kind of plays into what I was going to ask next, because we know it's a very small percentage of prospects that end up making it to the majors. Which one do you think most likely will make it to the majors and to St. Louis, especially fitting into what they need?
Well, Drew Rom from Baltimore in the Flaherty trade, he was on the 40-man pitching in AAA this year, and he's one of those, like, sort of deception pitchability lefties. So, like, he's probably the most likely to make it, but, like, it's like 80% that Reverse or Roby makes it because they, like, found success in AA and were headliners of a trade. So, like, even if the wheels completely fall off, they'll probably get a call-up just, to give them a chance to play because they've invested a lot into them. But I would say the question isn't really will those guys make it? It's what kind of guy will they be? Are we going to get more than 20 starts combined in the big leagues from those 3 guys combined? Like that, I think would be like a reasonable over-under because at this tier of prospect, you're kind of going 1 for 3, getting what you think they're going to be, like a good outcome. And so if one of these guys is a guy that like gets to arbitration and starts 100 games and all that, like that's why you do this sort of thing and get the same kind of guy in bulk. To hope to get one of them that really hits, and if you nail it, you'll get 2 of them to be really good, and maybe the third one is like a useful guy that bounces around for a couple years and kind of fills a role.
Kiley, Paul DeYoung was traded away. Brendan Donovan is out for the year with an elbow injury. Seems to be clearing the way for Mason Wynn. What can we expect from him when he does arrive in St. Louis?
He is an electric athlete by just about any measure. I think I've mentioned on here before that he casually has maybe the best stuff next to Helsley in the bullpen, but he doesn't pitch anymore. So like that's how talented he is. He just doesn't do that anymore, which I can't imagine being that physically talented and not doing it. But he's a plus runner, above average defender at shortstop, can really do all the stuff you'd like to see him do in terms of base running, defense, all that kind of stuff. And I would say it's probably in the sort of average hit, average power, but because of the athleticism, contributing in all phases, playing that position, so, call it 260, 15, 18 homers, a couple of walks, like that kind of thing. It might not, light you up, but that kind of guy playing a good defense and contributing in all phases and all that kind of stuff, that's like an above-average everyday player with a chance to be a guy like making some all-star teams here and there. Like you can probably think of a shortstop you like that made an all-star team that normally is like hitting 15 to 20 homers and hitting 260, and then the year that they go 280 and 25, you're like, oh, this guy's really good. Like that's kind of the amount of variability you get with that. So if you start with a really talented like 22-year-old that can do that in most years, he's going to give you a year or two that's better than that.
And Kiley, if you look at that 2020 Cardinals draft, we already know Jordan Walker. He's here. You just mentioned Wynn. Their other second-round pick was Alec Burleson, and then between Wynn and Burleson was Tink Hence. What do you think of Hence?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. I think he would have gone much higher had it not been the pandemic draft because I posted something from the Futures game, some video, and I added some video from when he was in high school, actually at the event I'm going to right now. And he actually doesn't look as different as I thought he would. Like, he was one of those guys where it's like, all right, his off-speed pitches are just okay, but, like, it's a great body, great arm action. It's, like, silky smooth. And he's, like, 90 to 93 until he gets tired. And now in pro ball, it's, like, 95 to 98. He doesn't really get tired. His off-speed pitches are now, like, a little bit above average. And all the little components you liked about how athletic he moves and how clean his arm action is and how good of an athlete he is on mound, that stuff now translates into, he throws strikes and he's able to make adjustments and like deep into games he's throwing strikes. And so that is like sort of, again, the components you're looking at for guys that become second, third starters, the guys that like you are confident when they start a playoff game. Like he has all those components. And then the question is, as he gets to AAA in the big leagues, does all of it translate? Does it turn out his off-speed pitches that look above average actually play a little bit below, or he starts casting his curveball, or like he's not tunneling it well? Like all the little pieces you have to do in the big leagues that like guys like Liberatore, where they're kind of up and down a little bit. You good start, bad start. You like him, and then you're kind of like lukewarm. Like, is he just going to sail right through that and be getting Rookie of the Year votes and have no problems, or is there going to be like a little bit of a year or two breaking in period when he gets there? But the Cardinals have done a really good job finding easy in terms of innings per year, potentially next year being the year that he's able to get to the big leagues.
Kiley, it's always great to hear your voice. Thanks so much for the time. We do appreciate it. Safe travels and have a great day.
Yep, I'm going to prepare for the 2024 draft. So you guys have me on to ask about that. I'm doing research for that right now.
You bet. It never ends. And the Cardinals are going to have a high pick. We know that.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that guy's here. The talent's down a little bit, but I'm still going to study anyway.
All right. Thank you, Kiley. See you later. Kiley McDaniel, ESPN. By the way, Tink Hence turns 21 on Sunday. What a young team, huh? Wow. And that 2020 draft, that might wind up being, it could be a watershed moment for the Cardinals. We hope that it is, with Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn, Tink Hence, and Alec Burleson. That might wind up being something else. The other three players that they took in that draft, by the way, Levi Prater, Ian Bedell, who's highly regarded by the Cardinal organization from the University of Missouri, and L.J. Jones. So there's more on the way from that 2020 draft. Brooke, Carrie, Randy, coming up, our rush hour reset. Stick around. We'll tell you about the Cardinals' 4-homer game last night. Next on 101 ESPN. Hey, let's talk real estate for a minute. If you need a reliable, experienced, and trusted real estate agent, take it from me and get to know Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And you should give her a call right now or today if you're considering selling your home at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888. And here's the reason that you should use Gloria Liu, because she already has a buyer for you. Gloria is able to guarantee the sale of your home in writing because she already has buyers, thousands of ready buyers with over 20 years of buyers in an exclusive database looking to buy in your neighborhood and in your price range. That's how Gloria gets you the most money and creates the highest demand, many times with multiple offers, which means more money in your pocket. Gloria sells for more and sells faster when compared to the average agent in our area. She's not your average agent. She is St. Louis local real estate authority with 20 years of experience, hundreds of homes sold in just the past 12 months, and the only agent that I'd recommend to sell my home. Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888 or at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Time for the Rush Hour Reset here on 101 ESPN. Thanks to Kiley McDaniel for joining us. The Cardinals, 7-3 winners over the Minnesota Twins last night at the ballpark. And a lot of fun and a lot of fireworks in the second inning.
High fly ball. He went down and called back to left. Wallner back. Track wall. Over the bullpen and gone. Early fireworks in St. Louis. O'Neill is homered in back-to-back games, and the Cardinals strike first. So a 2-2 pitch. Swing, fly ball, line left again. Track wall, gone. Walker has his 10th. Fly ball, that's whacked to right. That's headed for the Cardinals bullpen. The fireworks guys hardly had time to reload. It is derby time at Busch Stadium. Split finger, Lars Newbar goes down and gets it. Another bomb, 411 feet.
Newt. Brooke is just absolutely thrilled.
Yes. The Nutty Neuters of Newt Nation are very thrilled, rejoicing, some might say, enjoying what Lars Newbar did last night.
And it wasn't over yet in the very next inning with a couple of runners aboard.
Swing and a drive. Tape measure shot down the line. Burleson with a 3-run homer.
And the Cardinals roll to the 7-3 win over the Minnesota Twins, and not to be lost in the excitement of the 4 home runs was the spectacular performance of Dakota Hudson. He goes 7 innings. He allows 3 earned runs on just 2 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 7. Then Palante came on for a scoreless frame. Romero came on for a scoreless frame. And the Cardinals are rolling. Here come the Cardinals. Kind of.
Trilla.
To the end of the season.
But yeah.
You're rolling right along.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's something. Maybe it's just less pressure.
It's something. That
Yes.
has the best description I've heard. It's something.
It's something. Sellers, and now everything's fixed. You don't even have to add anything, right?
No.
Next season?
And the team to look out for is not the Cardinals, but it's the Cubs, who have scored 36 runs in their last 2 games, a 16-6 win over the Reds last night. And the Cubs all of a sudden within 3 of the National League Central lead, within 2.5 of the National League wild card. And I know they had to put Marcus Stroman on the IL, but they only expect him to miss 1 start. I kind of think that the Cubs might be on a roll. They made a good move in keeping Cody Bellinger around for the rest of the season. That Justin Steele is in front of the rotation guy. I really like what I see from the Cubs. Now, granted, I've seen it against the Cardinals for the most part, but I like what I see from them.
Well, wasn't Greg saying that you shouldn't be fooled by all that? That maybe that the pitching isn't exactly.
And they haven't had the success against the best schedule either. But still, I like what they're doing. And I think they have a lot of good parts. Getting Candelario back, he started there. He's a pretty nice player, but Horner's a nice player. Ian Happ is hot right now. They've got some good things going on. I don't really care. I just think they're interesting.
not that interested, but
is there a team in the Central that you guys would like to have win?
Ooh,
the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Well, the 2023 World Champion
That's
Pirates.
who I want to win.
That's who I wanted to win.
Yes,
but now I want to see Ellie De La Cruz play in the postseason.
That's going to be fun.
I think just because of him and how exciting he is, I don't know. I feel like he could possibly be one of the big new faces of baseball. He already is. He's exciting, athletic, just his ability. It's fun to watch. I would love to see that in a postseason atmosphere, which feels weird to say that you want to. I don't want to cheer for any of the teams in the division. You don't want to. I don't like seeing them successful while the Cardinals are in the bottom.
I'll watch Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. I'll cheer for those guys.
I can cheer for them.
I'm not cheering for them. You didn't mention Cody Bellinger for the Cubs. He's been performing. He took a 1-year deal, a 1-year flyer type of deal, and he's going to get paid this offseason, isn't he?
Yeah, and he didn't want to come here because he didn't think that there was going to be enough playing time available for him. I kind of think there might have been.
No, it wouldn't have been. He would have been. I mean, they got 8 outfielders. Where was he going to play?
Tyler O'Neill was still here.
Where was he going to play? He's going to be rotating, Randy. You know how they do.
That's true. You're right.
You've seen this all season long.
The great Cardinals carousel.
Yeah.
What a fun ride.
That's true. Okay, a couple of other things. Lionel Messi scoring his 900th MLS goal last night in 3 games.
That's amazing.
He's pretty good. They're undefeated since he got there.
That is probably more amazing. One player.
He's Gretzky.
Yeah, he's pretty. He's pretty dang on good.
I'm legitimately terrified that they will win like 11 of their 12 final games, finishes like the 6th seed in the East, represent them in the MLS final, and probably win it. And Messi's just gonna drop the mic and walk out as he puts like the clown makeup all over the MLS. It's not a good look when a guy could potentially come in and completely take over a season.
I said he potentially could lead the league in scoring and just got here.
He could.
He will. I think the leading scorer had 13,
and he's got 5 in 3 games.
Yeah. So you think 12 regular season games? Can he score?
If he's scoring
20
goals,
game,
if he's scoring 2 a game, that's 24.
Yeah. So can he get if he gets to 20? Man.
It's
just solidify his greatness.
His greatness.
Randy, how do you stop him?
With concussions. You just smack him right in the head.
Is that?
I don't think you push for that.
You got a player that's not going to play a lot of minutes. You got somebody that you can put out there.
So you want to? You gonna
Jones it?
Yeah, I want to head slap.
You gonna bounty gate him?
Yeah.
Randy, you can't put a bounty on a man.
I just did.
Okay.
Is it wrong?
I think so. That's Brett Favre. He was pretty hot about that.
Yeah, it happens.
That bounty gate.
He's trying to win or not?
Now that I do agree with.
Sounds very Tanya Harding-esque.
I got a story. I had a.
Okay, gotta hear this.
Coaching at I'm coaching. This is a while back, and the head coach sends a text to all of us. Say, hey, which one of y'all showed these kids 11 envelopes with $100 bills in them? We had a coach take an envelope with a $100 bill, pull the $100 bill out, say, I got 11 of these for the hardest hits in the game. Don't think we should do that.
Probably not.
Not great.
No. You found out who it was?
Oh yeah, he found out. It was not good. Not good for anybody.
Did anybody get hit hard on the opposition?
Hell no. We went 0-10 that year.
Oh, man.
You couldn't bribe those kids to hit. No, it wasn't happening. happening.
So, and hey, one other note for you that we want to give you in the rush hour reset here. Looks like the Pac-10, Pac-12 is about ready to implode. They're trying to work a deal with Apple. You don't put college football, a conference, on Apple, okay? Now, here's the other thing. The Big Ten is trying to steal Washington and Oregon. So what's going to happen with the Pac-12? It's just going to die.
It will. I mean, you're already losing USC and UCLA.
Yep.
That's really USC is the lifeblood of the Pac-12, and so is Colorado potentially leaving? They're
in the Big 12 already.
You got if Oregon. I mean, that's all you have left is Oregon. Oregon is
Washington
is the or Oregon because Washington.
At least they've got tradition. They've won a championship.
They do, but in the last 20 years, you would know. You would have a hard time for these young players to know anything about Washington in comparison to Oregon, because Oregon, because of all of the uniform combinations, because of Heisman Trophy winners and guys that have come out, Oregon is the one that's holding the flag for Pac-12 right now, and if they decide to leave, you can cancel Christmas.
And then I wonder, like Arizona State to the Big 12, what happens with Stanford and Cal? It's really a weird situation in that conference with the Pac-12, because I don't know that, for example, right now, because of the rules that they have at Stanford and with the issues with the transfer portal, they can't get transfers into Stanford in basketball or football. Same with Cal.
It's hard. The level of how much the levels are so high there. Like, I've had kids that, they were intrigued in, but you got to have certain amount of classes for a certain number of years, and it's a really high standard to get into Stanford.
So, with that being said, I wonder where those teams from the Pac-12 would go if, indeed, if you'd have Washington and Oregon leave, and the only reason that Washington would go, you're right, is because they're an odd number, and they have Seattle. I mean, it's a good market. It's a good market. But what happens with Washington State? What happens with Utah? What happens with Stanford, Oregon State, Cal, and then I would guess Arizona State both go together to the Big 12.
Yeah. I heard that Arizona State and Utah were all in talks of possibly going to the Big 12.
That makes sense.
If what else do you have? I mean, Washington State can't carry the Pac-12 flag. You don't have much left.
Washington State and Oregon State? Yikes.
Yeah.
You're in the Mountain West.
That Mountain West Conference.
Yeah.
That's where you are.
Yeah. Wow.
Unfortunate.
So it's amazing. And it's all because of TV. It all, when it's college sports, always follow back to the TV money. And it's because they can't get a TV deal done, and they've got a bad commissioner there.
Yeah, it matters so much with the TV deals.
Yep. Coming up next on 101 ESPN. So we talked earlier a little bit about whether or not you feel like the Cardinal ownership is competitive, if they're trying to compete. And we want your mic drops. By the way, on our poll today, the question is, and it's a poll on our YouTube channel, just go to YouTube and search for 101 ESPN STL. Do you think the Cardinal ownership cares about winning? 72% of you on YouTube say yes. The rest, obviously, say no. That would be 28%. We'd like your mic drops, though, with the 101 ESPN app. We'd like to have you weigh in on whether or not you think the Cardinals' ownership is competitive enough for your liking. That's coming your way next on 101 ESPN. You know, I'm not a big fan of the shock collar when you have a puppy, and I know that some people use those. I prefer to have my fence from Chesterfield Fence and Deck. We are a dog family, and you want to keep the dogs within the perimeter of the yard, and the thing to do is to get a fence from Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They've been in business for 55 years, A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. Everything from Chesterfield Fence and Deck is guaranteed by a 5-year labor warranty, and comprehensive material warranties are also provided. And they have beautiful wood or cedar fences. And they do a fantastic job of coming out, measuring your yard, knowing exactly where the line of your yard is, and then doing a fantastic job of installing a fence that will be a lifetime type product. Our fence has been around for, heck, more than 25 years, and it still looks like the day we got it. It's a white vinyl privacy fence from Chesterfield Fence and Deck, and we couldn't be happier. You can get in touch with them at chesterfieldfence.com or call 800-300-4054. And don't forget that if you mention the show, get 20% off your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Cardinals win yesterday behind 4 home runs, 7-3 over the Twins. Those 4 home runs coming from Tyler O'Neill, Jordan Walker, Lars Nootbaar, and Alec Burleson. Dakota Hudson with another great start as well, or should say a great start as well. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts for his game. Cardinals back in action tonight for Game 3, facing off against the Twins in that series. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
All right, we want to hear from you. Do you believe that the Cardinals' level of competitiveness, their desire to compete, matches your desire to compete? Because my sense is that through their actions, if not their words, they are trying to compete. I don't think that you put together a team that has the players that they have with Arenado and Goldschmidt and Contreras and keeping Wainwright around, who, by the way, last year threw 191 innings, and signing Steven Matz and giving Michaelis the extension that he got, and then having the young players that they have developed, and it does cost money to develop players. I don't think that you do that without an intent to compete at a high level. But there are many fans out there, and I understand where you're coming from, that don't think that they compete enough. So we want to hear from you. Mic drops with the 101 ESPN app or the texts. Here's a text from the 816. They care about winning, sure, but the front office's definition of winning is different than the fans. The front office's definition is 500 or above and competing within a poor division. Fans' definition of winning is playoff success. The gap between these definitions is my biggest issue with the front office.
Yeah, it does seem, I'm very curious because this seems to be a discussion we keep having and people are texting in. What do you think is the difference? Like, what do fans envision? What do they wish that the Cardinals would do? And what they feel like they haven't seen thus far? because it does seem like there's a little bit of a disparity between what we would like to see the Cardinals do and what we've seen them do looking at their history of spending.
They want championships. Fans do. They expect championships. They expect deep playoff runs. And when you're not getting or reaching that level, it becomes frustrating because it feels like maybe they're not doing enough. You talked about the starting rotation and how much money they spent on that. The Cardinals did. If it isn't resulting in wins, then that leads to frustration as well. I mean, I'm sure the New York Mets fans were losing their minds. You got Justin Verlander, you got Max Scherzer. You're paying tons of money, and you're not getting those wins, and now they have to reset and pretty much start over. It's at times it's probably unreasonable, but that's what fans are. It's fandom. It's expectations that, sometimes are not attainable, but it's what we do as fans. We expect to win, and we hope. I think the line is at times fans don't think that the players or the front office or those people are trying as hard or want it as bad. I can tell you that they do, but things don't always align that way because there are 29 other teams full of professional baseball players that are trying to win as well. And so, it's just about being in the right place, right time, and putting the people in the right positions to have that success. And I think the Cardinals are trying to do that. It didn't work out for the 2023 season.
Let's get a mic drop from a friend of the station, Janet, here on 101 ESPN.
I really think that Mr. DeWitt likes to win, and I really think that he wants to win. I just think that somehow or another he bought into the wrong philosophy, and I think that they need to change that philosophy in order to go down a winning path again. You need to have common sense entered into the equation, not just all this analytical bull crap.
I'm glad she censored herself there. Thank you, Janet.
And I agree 100% because I think sometimes you get so into the weeds with the analytics and you can go too far. Analytics are a wonderful tool to use, but don't allow the analytics to use you. And I think that's what happens with a lot of organizations. And my sense is that that's what has happened with the Cardinals.
I agree. I think that there's a lot of things we've talked about bringing in an outside voice, somebody that can bring in a different perspective. I understand keeping that continuity with the Cardinals way, but it doesn't hurt sometimes bringing in another set of eyes, some fresh eyes to be able to see.
Do you think that there will eventually be a death to analytics at some point? I mean, how much success has it brought to organizations? I know it brings success financially because you can plug and play people that you normally would probably pay more for, and you can dial the money back. So it's successful in that regard. But on the field success, how much, I guess, validity do you get from having the analytics really be at the forefront of your organization?
You can get to a point, but then if you're Houston, you have to go out and trade for Brian McCann and sign Josh Reddick and sign Carlos Beltran and trade for Justin Verlander. You have to bring in people that are baseball people. Yeah. If you're the Cubs, you can go so far with analytics and finishing in last place, but then you have to go out and sign John Lackey, and you have to sign John Lester, and you have to trade for Aroldis Chapman and get people that are baseball players. And then you see the success of the Astros without the analytics, with Dusty Baker in charge. And you see what's happening with Texas now, where Chris Young is their general manager, brilliant guy, but he's kind of deviated away from analytics, especially when he hires Bruce Bochy as his manager. I don't think there will be a death of analytics. I think there will always be a place for the tools, but I don't think for the smart franchises that they'll be dominated by analytics.
Did Billy Beane ever win any championships?
No, he never did.
That's my problem.
Well,
that's the problem that I have.
And Kerry,
you brought in a philosophy of someone that didn't freaking win.
He didn't win. And here's the other point. When you go through that whole Moneyball movie, are Barry Zito and Mark Mulder and Tim Hudson ever mentioned in the movie? Never.
No.
That's why they won.
They were pretty good.
They won because they had 3 Cy Young Award quality starters. They didn't win because Scott Hatteberg was playing blanket first base.
Yeah.
His numbers are the same. He gets on base a lot. He's never played first base. Well, put him there. It doesn't matter. That's the chaotic mindset to me. Why would you go after a philosophy that didn't bring forth a championship or multiple? If you want to do something, if I'm a basketball team and I want to learn how to be champions, I'm probably going to look at the Golden State Warriors here in the last 10 years. They spent a lot of money, but it worked out well. Let's go by their philosophy. I wouldn't use the New York Knicks as the philosophical mindset for how I want to win championships. That is the troubling part to me about the analytics. There were no championships won from that period, from this birth of analytics.
Let's get one more mic drop. This is Matthew, who joins us via the mic drop feature.
I do think that the Cardinals ownership wants to be competitive. I don't think there's a question of that. I think they want to be competitive. Whether or not they want to be a serious contender, I think, is a wholly different issue. But I think the ownership, if they want to get back to a perennial contender, they're going to have to spend money. They need to start recognizing that the market for free agents has shifted away from whatever their model has said for years that it was.
The market has changed. But let's compare 4 franchises, Mets and Padres to Orioles and Tampa Bay Rays. To me, it's more about being smart than throwing a bunch of money at problems. Yeah. Not that you don't have to spend money, because to have star players that win in the playoffs, generally you have to do. There's a reason to do that. There's a reason that Philadelphia wound up in the World Series last year. There's a reason that Houston wound up in the World Series with guys like Bregman and Altuve and Verlander last year. And he won the Cy Young. But at the end of the day, the Cardinals could go give every single one of their 26 players $1 million raise, and they could raise their payroll by $26 million for next year. Is that going to make them any better because they're being paid a bunch more money?
No.
So that's not what it's about. Just paying guys doesn't make them better. You have to pay good players.
Yes. The quality of spending is what matters. And also with roster construction, we touched on this earlier, but also building things where you're not just looking to beat the division, but something that will work out in the long run, where you can make a deeper run, where we aren't also having those first round exits that we have seen in recent years too. Because I think that there has been a lot of that, and the reliance of that you could maybe just hope that the rest of the division bottoms out while you just sift your way to the top. I don't think you can do that anymore. I don't think that's an approach that works.
Well, it's not going to work in this division anymore because Cincinnati looks real. The Cubs, they look like they're trying again with people like Swanson and the free agent signings that they've made, and obviously Milwaukee isn't going anywhere. So you're 100% right.
And then the Pirates had the hot start to the season. That's what we were talking about earlier. Miss the old Pirates that you could beat up on.
Yeah, and they went downhill when they lost O'Neal Cruz. If they have a healthy O'Neal Cruz all year long, they're going to be a problem. That's Brooke. That's Carrie. I'm Randy. Coming up, we're going to head down the stretch of this edition of the Opening Drive with Rock and Roll on 101 ESPN. If you're like me, you spend a lot of time at Schnucks. And did you know with the Schnucks Rewards app, you can reward yourself daily? With Schnucks Rewards, you get 2% back on every single purchase that you make. It's simple. All you need to do is download, shop, earn, and redeem. Just show your barcode in the app or use your phone number at checkout. And not only do you get points off, but the Schnucks Rewards app has a lot of other features designed to make your grocery shopping easier. I like to put my list in, and then whatever Schnucks store I'm shopping at, usually it's the Depere one. The app will tell me where my next item on my list is so that I can have a very efficient shopping experience. Your next item is in aisle 4. Your next item is in aisle 6 so that you don't have to go up and down aisles all the time looking for what you want. It's effortless just to put it in the app and make your list there. Can't find breadcrumbs? It's easy with the search feature in the app. It is amazing. All you need to do is download the Schnucks Rewards app and save a little bit more money. Reward yourself. Download it today and start saving money off of your groceries at Schnucks.
I want to rock. And roll.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
On our YouTube page is worth the price of admission. Just log on to youtube.com and to go to 101 ESPN STL. And all you need to know is that we got to come at me, Sanford. And that's all you need to know. So check it out. You can watch all of our shows, by the way, on the old YouTube. And all you need to do is go to youtube.com and then type in 101 ESPN STL, and you can watch T-Mac when he's here, when he does his show on the YouTube channel. And you can also watch BK and Ferrario, and then the gloriously coiffed Anthony Stalter and Jamie Rivers in the afternoon. If you ever want to see a great head of hair, Anthony Stalter has it.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You can see that on the YouTube. And if you miss any of our interviews, just use our app or go to 101ESPN.com. And all of the interviews, including Greg Amsinger this morning, brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Center. Matthew, what do you got?
Well, over at Go Long TD, they're doing their annual list of kind of previews of each team. And in their Jacksonville Jaguars preview that just got posted, Tyler Dunn had an anecdote from the Urban Meyer years that I had not yet heard, but I had to get out here. And that was when they were really struggling. They had just hit 1-6, and the defensive players were having a meeting. And in that meeting, Andrew Wingard, their safety, stood up and said, listen, we're the defense. We're what this team's based off of. We have a rookie quarterback and we have a rookie head coach. We have to be the backbone on this team if we want to start winning games. Apparently, what was said at that meeting got to Urban Meyer. And Andrew Wingard was sitting at home on their off day a few days later, and he got a phone call from his position coach. When he answered the call from the position coach, it was Urban Meyer on the phone. And Urban Meyer demanded Andrew Wingard to explain to him why he would dare refer to him as a rookie head coach. Andrew Wingard said he then had to kind of like mea culpa and like praise the coach because essentially Urban Meyer was saying him, if you don't apologize, I'll cut you.
Wow.
We knew it was bad. Obviously, kicking people is pretty bad.
Kicker,
but to the level of being insulted because somebody referred to you as a rookie head coach while you're coaching your first ever season in the NFL just seems like the absolute pettiest of all the petty. I don't know how anyone could ever want this guy to be the leader of men in a locker room ever again.
Leave me out of it.
Exactly.
Because I will tell you, that works with college kids. But when you have grown men who some make more money than you do, there's a reason why you feel you can kick a kicker as opposed to a linebacker. A strong safety, a D lineman. I have a feeling that had he walked by and kicked, who was their starting D tackle at that point? Just one of those guys. We would have heard about Urban Meyer. We wouldn't have heard about the kicking. We would have heard about the choking. You'd have heard Urban Meyer got choked out at practice, a la what Latrell Sprewell told he was going to do to PJ Carlesimo. And so I have to assume that Urban Meyer has a level of intellect because he knows who to mess with and who not to mess with. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think that Urban Meyer is a good football coach, not a good person. And so, yeah, it's no wonder that only worked out for a year, well, half a year.
He's going to end up coaching another college football team again, isn't he?
He will, because college football but here's the thing. This isn't 2009 either.
You can't get exactly. This guy's making $500,000.
Some of these guys are going to be making a lot of money to play college football, and it's not going to fly.
And they can walk in a blink.
And they can leave at any time. So your roster will be have to be overhauled every single year if you are continuously acting in that manner.
I wonder whatever came in Nebraska, by the way.
Oh, that's a good question. What happened to her?
I don't know.
She's Miss Meyer probably doesn't care.
Probably not. Let's see. Cayman is on the Insta.
How many followers?
Let's see. 15,000.
That's it.
Hey,
part of a college football scandal. You don't even.
She didn't take advantage of that.
And you can't even.
It was a pro football. It was the Jaguars.
Oh, you're right. It was pro football.
She didn't take advantage of it.
She did not.
He had stayed in Columbus. Right, when he stayed in Ohio after everyone else flew back, and he stayed in Ohio to hang out at
Went to his bar.
That's what it was. Okay,
yeah, felt her up. It was checking oil. Yeah,
those were.
Checking.
I hate that terminology so much.
You love it or hate it?
I hate it.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Another coach controversy: Bobby Petrino at Arkansas.
Were you there for that?
That was
I wasn't. I came after, so I was there during the beginning of the Brett Bielema era. But the aftermath was just very, very interesting. All the stories, the whole motorcycle scandal,
awesome.
the photo, the video of the press conference is iconic. I think we use that about like 500 million times because you just can't ever get enough of it. Who let him do that press conference is the question I always had.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not a great.
It's a great Halloween costume, though. I've seen a lot of people do that in Arkansas where they'll dress up as him at that press conference and then her with the blonde wig. Yeah.
I'm looking at this 2021 roster. Miles Jack was a linebacker on that team. He wasn't going to kick Miles Jack, would he?
No, Miles Jack would have ate his lunch.
I think so.
Malik Jackson, I think, was on that defense.
Yeah, not this.
Jalen Ramsey, I think, was still on that defense, wasn't he?
Certain people, no, Jalen was
being traded already. Okay,
yeah, he's gone.
That was a pretty legit defense, though.
You don't leave people alone, man.
Even Andrew Wingard's going to put him in a body. Even Wingard's going to put him in a body bag pretty quickly.
I don't know, man. I don't have respect for people that act in that manner. Like I don't
have respect for people who threaten people's jobs.
I don't either. Have patience.
So, Urban Meyer came in Nebraska. That's just a what a couple.
Oh my God.
She should have more than 15,000.
Yeah, she should.
For that scandal.
Way more.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Randy.
With her name, you can say it.
You got to prioritize.
Brooke,
yes.
This was fun.
This was, yes. I heard it, and I'm trying to unhear it.
And Ohio.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, and we thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show for all of us until tomorrow, Friday morning at 7. Have a great day, St. Louis.
That's right.